The March 1st, 2017 meeting of the City Council is called to order. Wow. Did you hear that?
Yes.
You are good out there.
Well-trained, Mayor.
You know, no, we could start again. I loved it. It was the first in 6 years that there was buzz, 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 and then silence. Love it. Anyway, this meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for hearing impaired viewers. Please note, customers of CenturyLink and Cox Communication may view the program in high definition on Channel 1002. The council meetings, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler systems. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exit at the back of the chambers. Go out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, and down the back staircase. For anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or fire official for assistance. And once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Streets. Employees wearing safety vests or our city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to items on the agenda, citizen participation and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you may complete and submit to the city clerk up front. Cards are available online in the clerk's office or at the rear of these chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If anyone is present today who has need for hearing impaired equipment, please come forward and see our city clerk staff. And if you parked in the parking garage across the street, please be sure to have your tickets validated by security officers when you're leaving. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise for the invocation given this morning by Reverend Rachel Baker, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Las Vegas, and remain standing for the pledge. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Let us pray. Spirit of life, source of love and justice, we have gathered here today to do the work of building a fair, just, and equitable path for the community which we represent and which we share. May we step into this work today inspired by hope and fairness, our hearts and ears open. May we remember that we represent the needs and dreams of all members of our rich, diverse community in all of its struggles and all of its thriving. May the words that we speak here be as kind and humble as they are passionate and honest, always faithful to the trust and responsibility we have been given by the people of this city. May our actions be grounded in the common purpose of creating a fair, just, and equitable path for the people of this community. Please join me now in a moment of silence, humble in the presence of the work before you and the beckoning spirit within. May we be reminded always that we are all interdependent upon each other, each to each, into a broad and rich community. May every word spoken or action taken in this chamber be in service to the health and thriving of this community. In gratitude for the service of those gathered today, I say, may it be always so. Amen.
Thank you, and now we will be down with you for the ceremonial portion. This is a ceremonial portion of our agenda, and our first item, right away, Councilwoman, you're on board, and she's going to recognize a special group, very special group. I'm so loud, I didn't need that.
Obviously.
You know, sometimes there are groups in our community who work so hard and so long in so many different ways that we take them for granted. We just know they're always there, they're going to always be a help. Well, today we honor the American Red Cross, our Southern Nevada chapter. And while March has been federally designated as American Red Cross Month, our local chapter has something special to celebrate because they are 100 years old in June of this year. Yeah. The American Red Cross was founded by Clara Barton in Washington, D.C. in 1881. And in June of 1917, the Red Cross came to life in southern Nevada through the volunteer efforts of a small group of women who knitted sweaters, socks, caps, and rolled bandages and worked in a local hospital to help those in need. And since then, Red Cross volunteers from southern Nevada have touched the lives of countless individuals down the street, across the country, and around the world. For example, after World War I, our local Red Cross chapter in the Las Vegas Valley community together provided assistance to victims of disasters in the United States and around the globe, especially after the great earthquake in Japan in the early 1920s. And then later in the Depression era, from 1929 to 1934, it was a time of challenge and triumph for the local Red Cross. The small chapter worked to assist the hundreds of people who came to Las Vegas with the hope of working on the Boulder Dam. Some of these job seekers, however, were left without work, and they were living here without shelter and without much food because there was enough labor already to go around, so they didn't have a job. To help these individuals get back on their feet and find employment, it was the Red Cross who provided temporary housing, meals, gasoline. And then, with the advent of World War II, the Clark County chapter took on another traditional Red Cross activity, assistance to military service personnel and their families. They provided housing and entertainment and helped service members' wives, children, relatives, and friends who came to Las Vegas to see and support their loved ones in the armed forces. Many of these travelers arrived with very little money. Some of them, you might say, were penniless, having spent all of their money on transportation from other parts of the country. They had to have means to survive, and some did, but they then could not locate their loved ones. So the Clark County chapter arranged for temporary shelter, food, and clothing for those who needed help in that, and they also assisted in the search for service members. Local volunteers aided in these efforts in response to the chapter's call for help. In 1994, the chapter was rechartered under new policies established by the National American Red Cross Board of Governors. The guiding principle behind the policies was a renewed commitment to compassionately and effectively carry out Red Cross work to serve communities at the local level, in the nation, and around the world. With that principle in mind, the chapter was quick to assist those in danger from the 1982 MGM fire, from the 1989 Pepcon explosion, and the 1999 Clark County flood. They were there, they were quick to be there, and they gave a lot of help. On the national level, local Red Cross workers and volunteers helped Californians at disaster welfare inquiry centers after the 1994 Northridge earthquake. And the chapter also assisted people on the East Coast after Hurricanes Opal and Marilyn struck in 1995. On January 1st, 2001, this great Clark County chapter was renamed the American Red Cross Southern Nevada chapter to reflect the fact that the organization served areas not only throughout Southern California, but throughout the world. Today's Red Cross helps prevent, prepare for, and respond to life-threatening emergencies. And now I would like to invite up Tyler Corder from Finley Auto Group, who is the chairman of the board of directors, and Frank Rutkowski. Is he here?
Tyler's here, that's all.
Yeah, Tyler's here. And come up here, please, all the Red Cross volunteers who are with us today. And then I'm going to ask you, Tyler, to say a few words.
Well, thank you to the council for recognizing the Red Cross. 100 years is pretty amazing, and I just feel honored to be in this position, kind of representing all those who went before. And the Red Cross, just last month, we served 51 displaced people out of an apartment fire downtown. So our work continues. It's a great organization, and we very much appreciate the recognition. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Do we have a volunteer? Do you have a volunteer who would like to say a few words? What it's like to be a volunteer? Just say a few words. Just say how much it means to you and why you keep on going, because after 100 years, you've got to say this chapter kept on going.
Oh, my God. Hi, everybody. I've been a volunteer since 2001. I've been on 65-plus deployments, and what keeps me going is the rewards that we get from the clients that we serve.
Okay. Thank you very much. So today, Tyler, the city of Las Vegas is presenting your Red Cross unit with a proclamation. And we want to say how much we appreciate you and how much we know you help families and how you help cities, not just here, but other places also throughout the nation. And so we, the mayor and the members of the Las Vegas City Council, do hereby take great pride in proclaiming March 2017 as Southern Nevada American Red Cross Centennial Celebration Month. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Did you want to have a picture taken? Are you? I know you're taking pictures.
Got it?
Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
Thank
You're
you so
good.
much.
Thank you. Take care.
And I think the wings of our city hall will be going red in celebration. So this is really exciting. For our next item, it's my pleasure to recognize our Citizen of the Month for March. I look out and see all these wonderful young soccer players who competed in the Mayor's Cup, and I'm so happy that you're here for this item, because without our Citizen of the Month, our soccer tournaments would not be what they are today. That is because today, our honoree for March is head referee, assigner for the Mayor's Cup, John Kennedy. John Kennedy from Scotland. Where are you, John? Way back there. Come on up, please. This man is quite remarkable, and young that he is, he's been helping us for years and years. We're so proud and grateful to you. I can't begin to tell you. John has been in Las Vegas for 36 years and has refereed soccer matches locally the entire 36 years he's been here. He's also a former player himself and was semi-pro and played in the first division in Scotland. He's also a member of the National Soccer Hall of Fame in Oneonta, New York. So John is truly royalty in soccer. We love him because of everything he has done for soccer in the city of Las Vegas. He's been the referee assigner from day one of our corporate challenge and from day one for the Las Vegas Mayor's Cup. In our junior division, the fall, each of 18 years. And for our senior February division of the Mayor's Cup these past 10 years, John has personally attracted and brought in our international referee soccer personnel team. These are major events. This past Mayor's Cup senior soccer event for players 13 to 19, which we just hosted these past 2 weeks, it was comprised the largest number ever, 578 teams from 11 countries and 27 states. John also did something special when he refereed a match that our own Sherry Alexander was playing in a number of years ago. Where are you, Sherry? Up and to the, come on down here. Come on down here. So you have to think back, everybody. John was refereeing Sherry. And at that time, he issued Sherry a red card. I may have to keep John at City Hall to issue a few red cards for me. Now, John, our mutual friend, Roger Tabor, president of the Downtown Soccer Club, is on his way to or in China and couldn't be here today. But we have a special video message from him that you'll be able to see on the monitors right behind you and for our audience up above. So let's play that, please.
Hi, my name is Roger Tabor. I'm the founder and current president of the Downtown Las Vegas Soccer Club, as well as a huge volunteer for Las Vegas Mayor's Cup. Fortunately, I'm out of town, and I'm not here to recognize John Kennedy in person. So I'm going to share a few words with John and my history with him. When he first came to town, it was early 80s, and I was finishing my career at UNLV as a soccer player, and I thought he was just another washed-up European soccer player arriving in town. It was not the case. John was just a terrific referee. It's a testament to his referee ability. He did 2 NC2A men's national championship games as the head referee. He's also been honored to be inducted into the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame as a referee. He has assigned every single soccer game for referees for the Mayor's Cup since its inception, and my back of the napkin math says it's about 30,000 games. And from that, he would, there's 3 referees, so 3 times 30,000, just shy of 100,000 referee shifts. We have never had a single game without a referee in the entire Mayor's Cup. So as a tribute to John, 0 no-shows out of 100,000 is just a phenomenal number. It's a testament to John's relationships that he has across the country. We bring in over 150 referees for this event. They all respect, they all honor him, and they wouldn't think of not showing up for a game. This past weekend we had over 1,200 games, and John, every single person was there in a rain for 24 hours straight. I don't know how you kept them there, how you kept them going. They all had excuses, but you pulled it off, and so it's a great, great testimony to you. And as I can't think of a better person to be honored as Citizen of the Month for your work to the Mayor's Cup, your work to the city of Las Vegas, your love of soccer. Thank you, John.
Beautiful. Awesome. You are something else. No, this is so incredible. Wow. John, thank you for all your work in promoting soccer and working with our youth in our community. Mayor Pro Tem is going to present you with this award recognizing you as Citizen of the Month. And if you'll look to your left, you'll see a sign with your name on it that we will have posted outside of City Hall for the entire month. And first, I'm going to ask Sherry just to say a few words, and then I'm going to ask you to say a few words, because I know that record is the most incredible record I've ever heard. And when I toured a couple of matches back, when I toured the facility at Betty Wilson. And Roger and you both told me about this unusual man and his love for soccer, but his modesty always being in the back. I was blown away. And to know that every time, every one of these referees, umpires that come because of you, and because you have just been so consistent, you've just made a magnificent mark, forever indelible in the minds of every soccer player that ever plays on our fields or has in the past. So Sherry, please, if you would, and then John, we'd love to hear from you, because everybody's going to hear his fabulous Scottish accent.
When I began with the City of Las Vegas about 22 years ago, I got to work with the Corporate Challenge event, which is a citywide event, all kinds of sports. Of course, my love and my passion was soccer. I knew John before that because he would referee many of my games as a young adult. I see a lot of the players out there that were on the same teams at Harkey Park and Freedom, a lot of crazy places. We played tons of soccer, and John was always there. With Corporate Challenge, at that time, John would only referee adult games. He did not want to do or deal with any kids. And when I was tasked with starting the Mayor's Cup 18 years ago, as part of the youth initiative through Oscar Goodman, when he was in office, I knew there was only one man that could do that. And it took me a long time, several lunches at the Bagel Cafe, to convince him to come over and do the refereeing for this tournament. And obviously, him standing here today has proven me right. I picked the perfect man for that. And I think we all here in this room have been affected either by getting a red card, having arguments with him, and then him, justifying certain things in certain games. So I appreciate everything that he has done for the City of Las Vegas, for soccer, and for bringing soccer. I know at the time we had the Dust Devils here. We have the UNLV players, a lot of good soccer players, and John has been a part of all of that. So I thank him for everything that he's done.
Okay, Coach.
Mayor Goodman.
How do you like that? Did you hear that? Could you just say that part?
Yeah, Mayor Goodman.
It's actually...
Councillors, I'm very humbled to be here today. Wrong colour. Yeah. I'm totally humbled to be here today and to be honoured and even thought about as a part of Las Vegas. I'm so proud to live in this city. I think it's the greatest city in the world. I keep telling my friends overseas, you know what, you don't know, you're not even living until you come to Las Vegas. I've been here over 35 years and I've enjoyed every minute that I've ever been here. But I would be remiss not to thank a few people who have helped me on the journey. I would like to thank Roger Tabor. I know he's travelling in China right now, but without the executive director to get this operation going, we wouldn't be where we are today. Also like to thank Gary Sorsman, the director of operations. It takes every one of us to work together, but I've never seen a work ethic in anybody that there is in Gary Sorsman. His work ethic is tremendous. He sets an example for us all, and it's hard to stay and keep up with him. And to Sherry, we go back a long, long time. Forget about the red card. That was probably my first mistake in the game, man. But I would like to also thank Coach Ryerson and assistant coach Liam Connor and the coaching staff at UNLV, plus the players who they push me to be a better referee and make me the man I am today. I want to thank them all personally. I see that they're all in the crowd here, and it's amazing. It's amazing that they come here today. I actually see a few people in the crowd today that I used to referee when they were little girls and guys. So, you know, I'm touched by them even attending here and to even think about me at this situation. But I would just like to also say it's such a privilege to be a part of something that brings so much joy to players around the world. We have the greatest tournament, I think, in the country. And it's not because I'm a part of it, it's just because of the way we approach it. Because when we look at this job, we look at representing Mayor Goodman in the city of Las Vegas. And when you represent the city of Las Vegas and Mayor Goodman, you want to be the best you can be. So I really appreciate all the support that's here today. I thank every one of you for what you do for the city. But most of all, you know what? I thank the coaches and the youngsters who win these tournaments, the local kids, you know, and the amount of time these coaches put in. The referees are not always the enemy. We're just there to arbitrate the game and try and make it work for everybody. Once again, thank you, Mayor Goodman, and also to Mayor Oscar Goodman as well, because I started when he was the mayor as well. And thank you, Councilman, for even thinking about me. Thank you very much.
We are so proud. This is a moment in time for all of you who are players or dream of being players. I'd like our players absolutely stand up in honor of this great guy. He's so phenomenal. And just, it is so wonderful to be here today and give thanks to you, John. You're phenomenal. So let's go over here and have a picture.
Thank you.
Okay? For our next item, we will continue the soccer theme today. Councilman Anthony, I understand you have some athletes to recognize.
Thank you, Mayor. That was awesome. It's soccer day in the city of Las Vegas. Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to recognize the Las Vegas soccer teams that won their division over this weekend, February 18th to the 20th. The City of Las Vegas and the Downtown Soccer Club hosted the Las Vegas Mayor's Cup International Youth Soccer Tournament. I'd like to ask, Gary's already been mentioned, but Gary Sorsman from the Downtown Soccer Club, our biggest partner. Would you come down here, Gary? I know you're here somewhere. There you are. You're much better looking than Roger Tabor, so I'm glad you're here representing the Downtown Soccer Club. So, this is the ninth year of the Las Vegas Mayor's Cup. This is the largest international college soccer tournament, college prep soccer tournament in the United States. As the mayor mentioned, over this last weekend, we had 578 teams from around the United States, as well as teams from Mexico, Canada, Panama, Guatemala, the Dominican Republic, Cayman Islands, Haiti, France, Japan, Brazil, Colombia, Australia, and Germany that came out to the city of Las Vegas, not only throughout the country, but throughout the world. These are by far some of the best soccer players in the world that come to Las Vegas. In October of every year, The Mayor's Cup hosts the tournament for the younger kids, around 7 or around 8, 9, 10. So these are the big kids that come out. These are some great players. And not only that, but you just have to imagine the millions and millions of dollars that are pumped into this economy over that weekend from hotels and rental cars and hopefully gaming, not the kids obviously, but the parents are spending their money gambling. And do not go by Lake Mead and Tenaya during the weekend and try to get something to eat, because the restaurants are packed with soccer kids. So it's a great economic push. And I just want to mention the major partners with the City of Las Vegas. Obviously the Downtown Soccer Club, Chapman Auto Group, the Generation Adidas International, the Rotary Clubs of Southern Nevada Consular Corporation, Raising Cane's, Buca de Beppa, and the Las Vegas Events. They are all big supporters and a big part of making sure this tournament goes off without a hitch. And it all culminates on Sunday at Betty Wilson Soccer Complex at Lake Mead and Tenaya, which is by far one of the best soccer complexes in the entire United States. And the mayor and I were out there Sunday handing out trophies to first and second place trophies to the winners from all over the world that came out and won their divisions, and giving them their awards for winning that particular day. And again, none of this would happen without some people that have already been recognized. Sherry Alexander, she's been recognized. She is out there all weekend from the City of Las Vegas making sure this tournament goes on without a hitch. Tim Hacker, our Director of Parks and Rec. Was Tim here? Okay, Tim, thank you. Give him a nice round of applause. And Gary, our Downtown Soccer Club. You want to say a couple things before we get to business?
Well, first of all, thanks for coming to this. I think it's a great opportunity for some of you young guys, okay, to meet the mayor and the councilman and get recognized for what I believe is probably the best event around. Mayor and councilman, thank you very much. But there definitely is some more people that I've got to thank, because this event was probably one of my most challenging events because of the rain. So, Tim, I really want to thank you and your Parks and Rec staff, you know, Patrick and his staff, for all the work done on the fields. It was a challenge. It was a challenge. But on behalf of Downtown's Board of Directors, I want to just thank you all for participating. I can keep coming back to the Mayor's Cup. Every team that's in this event, I believe, is a winner. I know we got a bunch of winners in your divisions here, but every team's a winner. And last but not least, John, you know, you and I worked side by side for a long time. You know, congrats on your achievement today. Thanks for the kind words. Okay, but it couldn't be done, okay, without you as part of it. There's a bunch of my staff over here as well. I mean, this is, you know, you guys are going to think about this. 578 teams, a lot of soccer fields, a lot of rain, okay, but we pulled it off, and I think it was one of our better events. So thank you, everybody.
Good job. You know, and Gary mentioned it, but these fields have to be prepped before the tournament, and then they take a heck of a beating during the tournament, and then they have to be put back in shape. So Jerry Walker, why don't you stand up? Him and his crew, they're out there making sure these fields look great. But you know what it comes down to? It comes down to the players. I mean, they go out there and play some of the best soccer that you could absolutely watch against some of the best players in the world, and we have college scouts that come out and watch these players and see who they want to recruit to go to their to give out scholarships to their particular college and university. So what we're going to do is, we had 9 Las Vegas teams win their division against some of these teams from throughout the world, and myself and the mayor and the city council want to recognize them. So what we're going to do is I'm going to announce the 9 teams. Some of them are here, some are not. Each team is going to get a stack of certificates. With each one has the player's name on it, and they get to take that certificate home. And we also have some soccer balls that we gave out. The mayor and I gave a couple out on Sunday. Some teams didn't get them. It's soccer ball signed by the Galaxy Major League Soccer team, so we'll give out some of those. So when I announce your name, come on down here. We're going to take a picture. You get to say hi to everybody, and then we're going to get you back to school, because I know that's where you want to be right now, is you want to be back in school. So, all right, there's my teams. If we could move this podium out of the way. And Mayor Pro Tem is going to help me hand out. Okay, so these are the winners of their divisions from the city of Las Vegas for the Mayor's Soccer Tournament this weekend. The under 11 boys Adidas division, the winner is the Heat FC 06 TD, Coach Terry Devlin. Are they here? Come on down, kids. Yep. So we're going to come down. Parents that are here, anybody, take a quick picture, and then we'll send them off.
Am I giving the ball to everybody?
Congratulations.
Good job, you guys.
All right, high fives all the way across. Yeah? How about it?
Bam, bam, bam. Job.
All right, go ahead and have a seat, or take a knee, or stand up. Good job. All right, everybody getting your picture. All right, show that trophy there. That's a great trophy. Congratulations.
Okay, everybody come close.
I know.
Two and three cameras in one. Congratulations.
All right, good job, you guys.
Excellent.
All right. And you know what? We got to recognize the parents who are dragging these kids to practice and games and whatever they do. So congratulations to the parents. Okay, the under 14 boys Chapman Auto Group Division, the LVSA 03 Silver, Manleo Miranda is the winner. Are they here? All right, congratulations to them. We'll get them the certificates. The under 17 boys Chapman Auto Group Division players SC00 Elite, Coach Paul Barron. They here? Come on down.
Wonderful. Okay, yeah, that's it. Squat. Say hi to everybody. Congratulations.
Get in the middle with that trophy. Good job. Good job. Good job. Congratulations. All right, let's line up for a picture. Take a knee. Yeah, there you go. I'm right here.
The last four teams in our division, the last four teams in our division, so the four semi-finalists, were all from Las Vegas.
Here, you tell them.
Forward.
We got an announcement here. 1 second.
Guys, I don't know if anybody's really aware of this, but teams came from all over the world, and the last four teams in our division were all Las Vegas teams. So personally, I'd like to congratulate the other teams from Vegas and the other coaches. What an incredible achievement for the town. Something that I never thought I'd see 3 years ago when I came into town. The other thing I never thought I'd see would be a Scotsman and a referee as Citizen of the Month. So I'd like to congratulate John.
Good job. All right, let's take a picture. All right, good job. Okay, the next team is the under 14 girls, Chapman Auto Group Division, the LVPSA 03 Red, Coach Michael Madrid. Are they here? All right, congratulations to them. The under 14 girls Adidas division, the Heat FC 03MH, Coach Michael Harden. Are they here? Come on down, girls.
Get down on there or bend over or something. Here, right here. Great. Okay.
All right, congratulations. The under 16 girls Chapman Auto Division, the LVPSA 01 Red, Coach Nelson Medina. Are they here? Come on down. All right. The trophy showed up with one of their players. That's awesome.
We did it. We won.
All right, congratulations. Awesome. The under 16 girls Adidas division, the LVPSA 01 White, Coach Yancey Tisdale. Are they here? All right, congratulations to them. And then the final group is the under 19 girls Chapman Auto Group Division, Players SC 98 Elite, Coach Christopher Shaw. Are they here? Okay, congratulations. Did we get everybody? Everybody's been recognized, all the teams? Who did I miss? Okay. Thank you very much. The parents are getting on me, man. You got to recognize these kids. Okay, the last, yeah, I got a red card on that. All right, the last one is the under 15 girls Chapman Auto Group. Which one did I miss?
Here.
That's it. That's all I got.
Come on. Who is it?
Under 14, U14 boys, Heat FC 03 RM. RM.
Thank you. Okay. Messed this one up.
Bring him down. What about?
We don't have certificates? No. Okay, we, for some reason, they didn't make it on the list, but they're winners, and they're going to get certificates. Good job. Is the coach here? Coach is in here. All right.
Wait, who drove? Who drove?
All right, so why don't you guys take a knee, some of you up front. Take a knee, there you go. Sorry, Barry.
Go Rebels.
All right, what's your name, Coach? Coach Antonio here. Coach Antonio. Coach. Put down your name and telephone number, and I want to get you. Okay, thank you very much. Congratulations to all the winners, and we will be back in October to recognize the young kids. Thanks, Gary. Good job.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I can do. What happened to my little pin? Do you see my little pin? My little. No, I think I had it. Oh, it's up there still. I knew I put it there. Thank you. Boy, are we proud of our players. They are the best. Okay, for our next item, it's my pleasure to recognize the winners of City's Action Team Award. For our next item, we're celebrating a team of employees who have done an amazing job for the city, and I'd like to ask our wonderful Fire Chief, Willie McDonald, to join us for this presentation. Our employees strive to meet our values of action, which you all know stands for achievement, creativity, teamwork, integrity, and ownership now. They build our community to make life better. Our award winners are our amazing Las Vegas Fire and Rescue Department. And I would like to also invite Captain Frank Perez, Engineer Jeff Halverson, Fire Paramedic Tim Eichholz to join us here, please. What a group.
Have all the Engine 4 Captain costume and
more.
Let's have all the Engine 4 folks up. Come on up.
And do you know what? I have to tell you, every single one of these guys is a chef. They all can cook. I keep running into them at the supermarket. They take the whole engine with them, 6 at a time, and they're always shopping. So they're always eating, which is good. But I don't know who's the best, but not to make fun of them. This is a great group. On December 26th, just as they were look at this, just as they were sitting down to dinner, the doorbell at the station rang, and the crew found a mother and 3 young children standing outside. The mother explained she needed to find a shelter, and a gas station attendant had directed her to come to the fire station. Captain Perez and his team invited the family in. While the children enjoyed some snacks, the firefighters spoke with the mother and worked to get her into a shelter program. Despite it being in the evening and the day after Christmas, the fire crew was able to find a shelter with space for the entire family. The crew provided snacks for the road and some gift cards. And Jeff noticed that one of the children was wearing a short-sleeved shirt and ran to his locker and gave him a sweater. Thank you all for your kind and caring behavior. You are the best examples of a kind and gracious public servants at the City of Las Vegas. Thank you all, each of you, for all that you do to safeguard this community, whether it's risking your lives in a fire, reaching out a helping hand to another. You're just the best. And Mayor Pro Tem, you are lucky because you're going to give each of our wonderful, wonderful officers here a certificate of recognition. And I know our wonderful fire chief is so proud of them. So we'll hear from you, please, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. I'm Willie McDonald, and I am so proud to be a Las Vegas firefighter. Our guys are completely dedicated and committed to serving this community, and they do it every day, and they do it because they feel as though that they're members, they're neighbors, they are part of the community, they own their jobs, they love serving this community, and they're just dedicated to building community to make life better. And each one of these folks really loves serving this part of the community. And so I'm so proud of them. I'm just appreciative of them. And they do this all the time. They don't like the recognition, but they love serving the community. So congratulations, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, what station?
Station 4, downtown. Station 4, downtown.
Everybody's Station 4. Do we have a competition between stations ever?
No, there's no competition.
Aha! Okay, I like that idea. It could be a cooking competition, though.
That'll work.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind cooking competition.
Okay.
As long as I'm not cooking.
As long as you're not. See what a great group we have. Chief, yes? Yes? Did you want to?
Sure.
Yeah. They're not shy either.
First, I wanted to thank everyone responsible for acknowledging us. This public acknowledgement was a shock to all of us. It's unexpected. For us, it's all in a day's work. However, Tim and Jeff's compassion and empathy exemplify what community service is. And I was just a visitor there as the company officer, so I have to also share credit with Rafi, who clearly it's a direct reflection of his commitment to community that he instills in his crew. So I want to thank Mayor Goodman, obviously the council members, our city manager, and Chief McDonald, and the rest of the LVFR staff. Thank you.
Every day, 24/7, we love you fellas. We just really love you all. You're the best there is, and we know it. There is no team like Fire and Rescue in Las Vegas. So God bless you and thank you, and may each of you have a healthy and safe year. We really admire you. Thank you. Thank you. We can take a picture. Where do you want to take a picture? Oh. Shane in the back, in purple today. Councilwoman, can you see Shane?
Yes.
Okay.
Very well.
Great. And I have to tell you, I cook every single night for my husband unless he takes me out. And last Saturday, I was at Smith's Food King, which is where, I don't even know if it's called Smith's Food King anymore, but at the one at Rancho and Charleston. And of course, Fire Station 10, that's home for them too. So as we were walking in together, of course, every eye looked at me because I was with these dudes and all in uniform. So I said, so what are we cooking? And they walked in, they said they weren't quite sure. And I said, well, you know, a great dish that now that I see you, I'm going to make myself. Short ribs with tomatoes and sauerkraut and brown sugar. Bake it for 4 hours. Well, I want you to know I went home and made them, and it was so good. I decided I was going to maybe share it down with 10, but Oscar ate them all. So I got plenty of recipes, and we know that you all do each take a turn, right? What's your specialty?
I don't have one. I don't cook.
Now, that's not possible. How's that happen, Chief? Doesn't everybody have to? He's good at lots of things. He's good at lots of things, but cooking isn't it? All right, enough about this. So no more cooking today. Anyway, congratulations. We're so proud of you and your kindness to others. What a great team. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks.
Some people are better than others.
Right?
Yeah.
We know that. Thanks. Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you. And for our next item, Councilman Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the honor of recognizing some wonderful students in the Clark County School District, representing Ward 5 from ATEC. So I would like to ask that Andrew, is it Trejo? How do you pronounce that, Andrew? I'm sorry, Andrew Shepard, and that we have this backwards, actually. Well, come for it, guys. Tell us who you are. Come for it. I know Andrew. I have it written down here wrong. My apologies. So Andrew Shepard.
Yeah, Andrew Shepard. Antonio Trejo.
Antonio Trejo. There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Shepard and Antonio Trejo is joining me here at the podium as I recognize them for their participation in the National Discovery Design 2016 competition by the Chicago Architecture Foundation. Yes, they represent the Advanced Technology Academy, ATEC, in Ward 5, and the competition invited youth from classrooms all over the United States to design an affordable housing prototype for a local town, city, or location of their choice. There were an overall 250 registrants. At the close of the competition, 150 completed the entries and were submitted, and 30 schools from 12 states. I'm proud to recognize that Antonio Trejo as the first place winner and Andrew Shepard as the third place winner, representing Las Vegas, Nevada, out of all of the states that were in this competition. Both winners are students from Advanced Technology Academy, and I believe on the overhead we have their designs going forward. So let me just introduce Antonio Trejo as the first place winner in Antonio's prototype. Is entitled the Aurora, making reference to his objective of designing a model that provides ample natural lighting. Choosing the area near the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Antonio described the problem of the area as not having enough attractive, affordable housing. Antonio conducted his research and determined the targeted demographic was UNLV students. In brainstorming his choice model, Antonio wanted to make his model not only attractive but also energy efficient, providing an additional cost savings factor. The final model provided a solar roof, solar filmed windows, smooth stucco finish, and several cost saving amenities. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to our first place winner, Mr. Antonio Trejo.
So as Mr. Barlow, or Councilman Barlow mentioned, I'm Antonio Trejo, and I'd like to begin by thanking everyone here, specifically Mr. Barlow for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Joseph Mitchell, which asked me to call him Joe, and the rest of the council that sits here behind me, and Mayor Goodman. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good job. So with my design, what I did is I focused completely on sunlight, because it would have been completely nonsensical for me not to take advantage of the sunlight we receive. Because of the sunlight, it produces energy efficiency, and therefore less amounts of utilities we use, and therefore making it affordable in the long run. Because what we have to see that it's not only the initial cost of of a house that we must pay for, we also have to see it in the long run. And Tesla's roof, which I used as well, is not necessarily out for the public yet. It's actually set to come out this year. But the reason I included it was to show that we should always consider different and advancing technologies to improve sustainability and affordability in the architecture we produce. We should also embrace current and past techniques that help us take advantage of our environment to improve sustainability. That is one of the many lessons that my peers and I have learned through our instructor, Mr. Knoppel, he's sitting over there next to our principal, Mr. Seinold. He is what I believe a key component to why 5 out of the 10 finalists came from our school. I'm honored to be here, and I am honored to receive local recognition for my work. Thank you.
Congratulations to you. And Mr. Seinold and Mr. Knoppel, if you all please come forward and stand with these great students as well. Yes, ma'am. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Mr. Andrew Shepard, our third place winner here for the state of Nevada and in the city of Las Vegas. Andrew Shepard calls his model the Showboat Home, aiming to address the problem of attractive and affordable housing for low-income professionals. He chose the former site and home of the Showboat Casino, just a few miles from grocers, shops, and downtown art district. Andrew Shepard, using architect Alejandro, and I'm going to chop this name up, Aravina, and designer Liz Agbu to inspire his mid-modern architectural model. Andrew's design included passive cooling technologies, condensed rooms, and a butterfly roof to maximize the natural light in the bedrooms and bathrooms. Finishing his model, Andrew designed a home that meets Nevada's low-income housing trust fund limits. On behalf of the mayor and Las Vegas City Council, we are proud that you are here to represent the city of Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andrew Shepard.
Thank you, Councilman Barlow, for that incredible introduction. So my name is Andrew Shepard, and I'm a high school senior in the architecture program at the Advanced Technologies Academy. My goal as a designer is to create spaces that will encourage people to gather, share ideas, and get involved in their communities while being respectful of the environment. So when the Chicago Architecture Foundation charged us with designing an affordable home, I decided to target young professionals seeking work in Las Vegas's burgeoning arts district downtown. The design needed to make thriving in Las Vegas achievable. It should be located near bus stops so residents don't have to rely on their own cars, be small enough to be affordable, but also be a home that people are proud to live in. I found a lot of inspiration for my design in Las Vegas's mid-century modern architecture. In fact, the home's butterfly, tar, and gravel roof is something that was seen frequently in mid-century homes, but not as frequently nowadays. In fact, gravel roofs work better in desert environments than shingles do, and that's because they radiate heat better. This leads into the home's sustainability. It features a breeze block wall, which allows for passive heating and cooling in and out of the wide accordion door, reducing energy loads, as well as providing a design feature that is attractive and interesting. While the home is small, it includes lots of space for gathering, entertaining, both outside and in, and feels airy and open despite being just 820 square feet. Further, it encourages the formation of a community by placing an emphasis on walkability and shareability, an extension of my ethos as a designer. These kinds of projects are practical movements towards a future built by thoughtful design, and that's something I'm proud to be a part of. My school, ATEC, is home to the #1 architecture program in the country, and it's captained by our incredible teacher, Mr. Knoppel. Of the 10 finalists in the National Discover Design Competition, 5 were from ATEC. To be part of such an inspiring, challenging program is a huge part of why I'm standing here today. Thank you, Councilman Barlow, and the City Council as a whole for taking the time to recognize this achievement.
Good job. Congratulations to them both. And Mr. Knoppel, would you please come and share a few words, please?
Oh, I didn't know I had to repair anything, but as a Clark County School District teacher for the last 22 years, I feel very fortunate to have worked at ATEC for the last 22. These young men's work is indicative of what I try to teach them on a daily basis, and I feel very fortunate, very humbled, honestly, Councilman Barlow and Mayor Goodman, that you took the opportunity to recognize these young men's work, and hopefully, for especially Antonio, he'll see the validity in what he does and how special this accomplishment is, because I think sometimes they don't realize what wonderful ideas they have and how they can affect change. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that because it's very special. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
We will give.
And so, Mayor, if you will please present Andrew Shepard with his award, and Mayor Pro Tem, if you will present Antonio with his award, that would be great. And please come forward, Mr. Seinel, the principal of ATEC, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a round of applause. 5 students from your school. This is an amazing accomplishment, and so please come forward and share a few words with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for recognizing our students. This means a lot to them and to Mr. Knoppel. He has been there since the second year ATEC opened. And if you've never been to ATEC, it's just down the street here, and it's an incredible place. We have 1,100 students. We're about 50% free and reduced lunch. We actually have students from all over the valley. And so it's a pretty remarkable place. It breaks down barriers, and we were rated as one of the top schools in the nation last year by ACT. So we do a lot of amazing things here at ATEC and in CCSD. So thank you very much for the recognition.
Congratulations to you all. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Antonio, congratulations. Andrew, congratulations. All right. We take a photo, a group photo with the mayor and council?
Yes.
Let me say a word.
Please.
I just want to say that ATAC is one of the best secrets in the city. Also, I had 2 grandchildren who graduated from ATAC, went to a school college back east, did fantastic, and I would visit ATAC often. I was so impressed with how every time I'd pass a classroom, everybody was seriously listening or seriously at work, no goofing off or anything. You should be very, very proud of such a fantastic school, and it truly is one of the best in the country.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Picture. Come in closer. Proud of you. Come on in. Where are you, Councilman?
Let him be next to you, I think. I think he should be next to the mayor.
Look at these showmen I got now, Councilwoman. Thank you.
Keep looking at Shane in the back.
In purple. And these should be on our website. So, congratulations. Yes. Yeah.
And also would like to recognize the parents of these great students. Where are the parents? Please come forward. Can we take a photo with the parents? I mean, they sacrifice a lot for these students to be such amazing students in the school district, and so we need to also recognize and support those parents that are doing wonderful things on behalf of the students here.
Great.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Come forward. Come, Mayor Pro Tem. Where are you? Mayor Pro Tem, come in. So proud. Here we go. Wonderful. Okay.
Look here too. 1, 2, great. Thank you.
You are take charge. I love that. Good. Congratulations again. We're so proud and we can't wait to Congratulations. I think she's proud. I think you're proud, yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, now. Okay, just a couple of quick little items here. As Councilwoman mentioned, of course, this is the 100th anniversary of the Red Cross, so there's red. It's Heart Month, so it's red. And we also ask everybody to remember to wear red starting March 6th as we cheer on UNLV men and women's basketball Rebel teams in the Mountain West tournament. We can wear red whatever you like, whenever you like. And one last item, just a moment to acknowledge, we have a retirement. Our law enforcement is the very best, our marshals and our law enforcement. And for the very last meeting of the City Council, one of our favorite, most long-serving marshals, Roger McGanamy, is right there. So please, a round of applause for Roger McManamy. And we wish him well. Be safe, be healthy, and know this is always your home when you get tired of roaming around. We wish you the best. Thank you for your service. Okay, we will, I have 6 minutes after. We will give council 4 minutes to do whatever they like before we get started with the next phase. Yes.
some nice on the camera.
Okay, so we're on to 10? Are we all of us here? Yeah. Where's Councilman Coffin? Okay. All right. We're on to agenda number 10. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card who wishes to speak on this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. This is your opportunity to address the council, but the council is not able to respond or exchange in dialogue or engage in dialogue. We'll set the time limit at 1 minute, please, and please come forward, state your name for the record.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Margaret Ann Coleman, and I reside at 4160 Tonopah, Cape Cod Village. I'm here to represent on public comments the misfortunate, the deprived, and discriminated parties. I'm talking and speaking up on different items, such as a recognition of the winning designing. Those are appreciated and need to be built for the purpose of the poor and the homeless. I'm here also to address that I attend a meeting concerning the ozone level in our environment concerning marijuana or the myths that President Trump is talking about. I drew up a plan if I did receive my money, because I did confront the Board of Commissioners and them concerning money that is credited and due to me, that I would like to put forth an effort to present a design of my own, whereas we have bubbles that would...
Thank you. If you will go ahead, you can submit anything you wish to our city clerk, and it will become a matter of our record.
Okay.
We appreciate your coming down. Thank you so much.
All right, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Mona Lisa Samuelson. I am your community activist and patient advocate. And I'm down here because you have on item 42 something about question 2, and of course, I'm sure getting ahead of what that means to the city. But I didn't bring any paperwork because I know I can contact you all specifically and ask for your help as we get closer to having the Patient's Bill of Rights come out in legislation. That's BDR 361 at this time. Now, I'm also going to contact you about what else is going on in legislation that the patients need help with, because I know you all want to keep up on that and help us, because as patients, we are the most vulnerable medical patients, and we have to have an open dialogue so that we can focus on the right issues. And I know that you want to protect your most vulnerable. So thank you, and I'll be here in case we have discussion on anything relevant. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Cindy Brown, Miss Tartanian's district. And there's a couple of issues that we think need to be considered by the city. One of them is your requirement for the dispensaries to physically go with each patient as they're waiting for their medication. I've sat in their room for probably 15, 20 minutes. I have to wait for 3 or 4 people ahead of me because you guys make them have someone assist them. The dispensaries that are in the county, everybody can walk in, look, make their choices, and then go by. And it's putting a little bit of an undue burden on people because they have to wait. Some people have PTSD and they get really stressed out in the waiting room. So we're hoping you guys will fix that. And a second thing, not related to marijuana, could you guys put some chairs up by the elevators in the parking garage? I parked way down today, and it was a bit of a walk, and I did a lot of walking yesterday, and it would have been nice to have sat for the 3 minutes it took for the elevator to get there.
Good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good suggestion. Anyone else, please come forward and state your name for the record. Hearing and seeing no one, we will move on to agenda item 11. Business items for possible action. Any items that the council, staff, and/or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff has requested that agenda item 27 be stricken from the agenda. That is a temporary massage establishment license, West Sahara Massage LLC at 4033 West Sahara Avenue. And the applicant on agenda item 44 has requested an abeyance to April 5th. That is consideration of suitability of Avi S. Kopelman as principal of an alcohol beverage license, and consider a change in ownership of tavern license for the Sahara Lounge LLC, doing business as the Sahara Lounge at 1000 East Sahara Avenue, suite number 105. That is my motion.
Thank you very much. There's a motion. Would you please vote and please post? And that motion carries. Thank you very much. Agenda item 12. Possible action to approve the final minutes by reference to the January 18th, 2017 regular City Council meeting and the December 6th, 2016 special joint City Council Planning Commission meeting. Is there a motion to approve these minutes, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I would make a motion to approve agenda item 12.
Thank you. There's a motion on agenda item 12 to approve. Please vote. And please post. Motion carries. Items, we're on to 13 through 39. Agenda items 13 through 39, with the exception of agenda item 27, on the consent agenda are considered to be routine or recommended for approval by the departments and may be enacted in one motion. Are there any items council wishes to bring forward?
Your Honor, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda items 13 through 39, with the exception of 27.
Thank you very much. There's a motion to approve agenda items 13 through 39. Please vote and please post. Agenda item 40, administrative report by Jason Morado, ETC Institute, regarding the 2016 community survey results, all wards.
Mayor and members of the council, Betsy Fretwell, City Manager. I'd like to introduce Jason to you this morning. As you know, over the last 6 years, we've done a community-wide survey, and for much of that time frame, ETC has been our vendor who has conducted that research for us. And so Jason's here. He works with, I believe it's nearly 400 communities across the country to evaluate their community service. And he has over 15 years of experience. So we're really thrilled to have him here with us today instead of on the phone like they had to last year. I think it works better in person, so thank you for that. And we'd like for him to give you the presentation and then help answer any questions. And then staff will be ready to answer any questions that are applicable to us. So with that, I'd like to introduce Jason.
Thank you and welcome. Delight to have you here in person so we can see the creator of these surveys. Wonderful.
Great, thank you. Well, it's great to be here in the city of Las Vegas. My name is Jason Morado. I'm a senior project manager at ETC Institute. And ETC is a marketing research firm based in the Kansas City area. And the thing that we specialize in is doing community surveys for city and county governments all across the country. And last November and December, we administered a community survey for the city of Las Vegas. This is the 4th time we've done this type of survey for the city. The first time was 2013, and then we've done it every year since then. So today I'll go through some of the major findings from the 2016 survey. So I just have one slide about ETC. We're based in Kansas City, but we're a national leader in providing market research for local governments. We've been around for over 30 years, and in the last 10 years alone, we've done surveys in over 900 communities in 49 states. And that includes some of the largest cities and counties in the country. Some of our clients are the city of Dallas, San Diego, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Kansas City. So this is really the type of work that we specialize in. So today I'll go through the purpose and methodology of the survey. The bottom line up front are our main conclusions from the survey, and then I'll go through some major findings to show how we came to those conclusions, and I'll be happy to answer any questions as well. So there's several things we hope to accomplish from a survey like this. One's to objectively assess how satisfied residents are with city services and the quality of life in the city, and also to help determine what residents' priorities are. Also with the city, we're able to track the city's performance over time. I mentioned this is the 4th time we've done this survey, first time 2013, and we've asked a lot of the same questions each time we ask to do the survey. That way we can measure trends both year to year and then also looking back longer term. And then also as part of this survey, we're able to see how the city stacks up to other large communities across the U.S. So this was a 6-page survey. On average, takes residents about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. So it's a little bit of a longer survey, but really it's a typical length one of our community surveys. It covers a lot of different topics. These surveys are administered by a combination of mail, online, and phone to randomly selected households all throughout the city. Now, our goal is to get at least 900 completed surveys, which includes at least 150 in each of the city's 6 council wards, and we accomplished that goal. We ended up with a total of 944 completed surveys and more than 150 in each of these 6 council wards. And the results of these 944 surveys at the 95% level of confidence has a margin of error of plus or minus 3.2%. So essentially that means if we did this survey the same way 100 times, 95 times the results would be plus or minus 3.2% from what we're reporting. So the results aren't perfect, but really it's a very, very small margin of error. And one thing we do as we administer all of our community surveys is as we're collecting the data, we check the demographics of survey respondents to make sure that all demographic groups are well represented and to make sure they represent the actual city where we're doing the survey.
Mayor, a question I think will have a real short answer. Jason.
Sure.
If we wanted to have you oversample in an area because the sample sizes per ward are too small for ward-specific answers unless it's overwhelming, did you give us a price on that? Did you quote us a number?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Did you?
Oh, did we? I don't think we did this last time. You know, I think maybe a couple of years ago when we first started doing this survey, we did.
Okay, I just need to know what it would cost and what we need to do to have that done. Should we, at somebody's request, want to oversample an award or a geographic area?
Right.
Thank you very much.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
To get to a reliable number. It's a reliable citywide number.
Right.
The confidence level.
Yes.
That much is true. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So here we have a map of the city, and here we've shaded each of the council wards a different color so you can see where the boundaries are. The red dots are households that completed a survey, and I mentioned we had at least 150 in each one of these council wards, and really we had a good representation all throughout the city. This looks similar to what we had previous years, which is what we want, because that way when we're measuring trends, the results can be compared to each other more easily. We also check the demographics of survey respondents as we're administering the survey. So we had a really good representation by age. Had a very good representation by race and ethnicity as well. Also a good representation by total household income of survey respondents. And then for gender, we always try to get close to 50-50 male-female. So we accomplished that. We had 52% male respondents, 48% female. So here's our main conclusions from the survey. We found that overall residents have a very positive perception of city services, and we'll look at some examples of that in just a little bit. Also, we found that residents in each of these 6 wards are satisfied with the overall quality of services provided by the city, and we'll look at a map in just a little bit showing that. We also did some benchmarking comparisons and found that overall satisfaction with city services is higher in Las Vegas than it is in other large U.S. cities, which is the same finding that we found each of the 4 years that we've done this survey. And I've listed a couple of examples here. The satisfaction with the overall quality of city services for Las Vegas is 25% above the national average for other large U.S. cities. Now, whenever we do these surveys, that's one of the key areas we always look at. If you've seen the survey in the report, we obviously ask residents to rate a lot of different services. Here we're asking them to rate the overall quality of city services. So taking into account everything the city does, in that area, Las Vegas is 25% above the national average. And then also the city rate above the average for large U.S. cities in 35 out of the 58 areas that we compared. And in a lot of cases, it's significantly above, not just 1 or 2 or 3%. And then we also found that to maximize overall citizen satisfaction, the top overall priorities should be economic development, maintenance of city services, and police services. So the first area we'll look at is general perceptions of the city. Here we ask residents to rate their perception of the city in a number of different ways, and this question is asked on a 5-point scale. So 5 is very satisfied, that's the dark blue. The 4 is satisfied, which is the light blue. The 3 is either neutral or average, which is the white. And then residents who are dissatisfied or very dissatisfied gave a rating of 1 or 2, which is the red. So a quick way to look at this is the blue are the positive ratings, the red are the negative. And there's a couple of things that stand out here. One is that overall the positive ratings far outweigh the negative, with the one exception to that obviously being public schools. There you've got 23% satisfied, 53% dissatisfied. But for everything else, the positive ratings far outweigh the negative. And the one I especially want to point out here is that very top row, quality of services provided by the city. So again, that's taking into account everything that the city does. You've got 70% of residents who are either very satisfied or satisfied, compared to only 4% who are dissatisfied. So more than a 17-to-1 ratio of satisfied versus dissatisfied residents with the overall quality of city services. And that number is much, much better than we typically see, especially for a large city. So this is the very first question on the survey. Here we ask residents how satisfied they are with major categories of city services. Later on in the survey, we ask them to rate some more specific areas within these categories. So this is really kind of more big picture, asked at the departmental level. And again, this is that same 5-point scale. A couple things stand out here. Once again, the positive ratings far outweigh the negative. The area that rated the lowest is economic development. You've got 39% satisfied, which is still much better than 26% dissatisfied. But the other thing I wanted to point out there is when we first did the survey in 2013, only 26% were satisfied with economic development. Now it's 39%. So even though it's rated the lowest, that number has gone up a little bit each year that we've done the survey. And then if you look at the areas that rate the highest, just starting at the top, we have 3 areas where over 85% of residents are satisfied and only 3% or less are dissatisfied, which is fire services, the reliability of sewer service, emergency medical services. And then we have 3 other areas where over 70% are satisfied, 10% or less dissatisfied. So the quality of city sewer utilities, parks and recreation programs and community centers, and then maintenance of city parks. Here we ask residents how much they agree with a couple of different statements about the city on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 means I strongly agree, 1 is strongly disagree. So you can see here that 68% of residents agree that the city is a great place to live. In other words, they gave a rating of 7 or higher, compared to only 12% who disagree. And then 64% agree that the city is physically attractive, compared to only 14% who disagree. Then we also ask residents how likely it would be to recommend Las Vegas as a place to live. This is also asked on a 10-point scale. 10 means you're very likely, 1 means not likely at all. So here you can see 67% are likely to recommend the city as a place to live. In other words, they gave a rating of 7 or better. Only 14% are not likely. So we also found that satisfaction with the overall quality of city services is high in all 6 wards. So here we have that map of the city. And what we did here is we broke the results down by city ward. So we took the average for each city ward and then shaded that ward the appropriate color. And this question is on overall quality of services provided by the city. And you can see the entire map is light blue, which means that residents in all 6 wards overall are satisfied with the overall quality of city services. And it also means the city is doing a great job providing services equally throughout all parts of the city. Now, we did a map like this for every question on the survey where we asked residents to rate items on a scale of 1 to 5. So there's the main report, then there's a separate appendix that has over 100 of these maps. So it's really a great way to look at the data, specifically by each ward. So then we also took a look at the trends to see how the ratings have changed. Now, overall, the ratings are about the same, maybe down just a little bit this year from 2015. But that's a trend that we saw all across the country in 2016. And a lot of that we think has to do with the presidential election and just all of the negativity and issues that surrounded that. About 80% of the places where we did surveys in 2016 saw their ratings decrease from previous years, which is very, very unusual. And it especially got worse as we got closer to the election. And this survey was administered mainly in November, so right at election time. So really considering that, it's really great that the ratings weren't even lower than they were compared to 2015. So having said that, here's some of the areas that have had an increase in satisfaction since 2015. Building permits, building inspections, overall quality of local police protection. And then here's some of the areas that have had the biggest decreases since last year's survey: neighborhood cleanup sponsored by the city, water safety classes, enforcing the cleanup and removal of junk and debris, and then law enforcement in city parks and facilities. And then here we'll take a look at some of the more long-term trends. Here's some of the areas that have had the biggest increases in satisfaction since the first year we did the survey in 2013. Economic development, I mentioned that earlier, that's had a 13% increase in satisfaction since 2013. Overall quality of police services, that's increased by 8% since 2013. And then we've also seen big increases in city sewer utilities and the overall effectiveness of city communication with the public. And then here's some of the areas that have had the biggest decreases since 2013: before and after school programs, facility and park rentals, walking and biking trails in the city, then the adequacy of street lighting. So we also did some benchmarking comparisons to see how the city of Las Vegas compares to other large cities. So here, the blue line are the percent of residents in Las Vegas who are either satisfied or very satisfied. The yellow are residents from across the U.S. who are either satisfied or very satisfied. And this is large U.S. cities with a population of at least 250,000 residents. And the source of this data is that every couple of years, ETC does a survey with randomly selected residents all across the country. We just updated this in 2016. And we do it at least every couple of years, so we always have the latest trends. So this chart's for major categories of city services. And in all 10 areas, the city of Las Vegas is above the national average. And in 9 of these 10 areas, the city is at least 10% above the national average. So these are really outstanding ratings. If you start at the top, quality of fire services, 91% satisfaction rating for the city of Las Vegas. National average is 81%. For emergency medical services, Las Vegas is 17% above the national average. For city sewer utilities, 13% above. Parks and recreation programs and community centers, 11% above. Maintenance of city parks is still above the national average, but 3%. Police services, 69% satisfaction rating for the city of Las Vegas. National average is 59%, so 10% higher for the city. Customer service, this is one of the real standout areas on the survey. City of Las Vegas is 23% above the national average in customer service provided by city employees. City streets is 19% above the national average. Effectiveness of communication with the public, 15% above. And then enforcing codes and ordinances is 12% above. So then here are comparisons for perceptions of the city. Here we do have one area that's significantly below the national average, which is public schools. But then there's 4 areas that are significantly above. The one that especially stands out here is that top row, the overall quality of services provided by the city. And that's come up a couple times already in the presentation. But again, that's really a key area because there we're factoring in everything that the city does. 70% satisfaction rating for the city of Las Vegas. The national average for large cities is 45%. So really the city's doing just a fantastic job overall providing city services. Here are comparisons for quality of life ratings. As a place to retire, the city rates strong. As a place to raise children, it rates lower. As a place to work, is a little bit below the national average. Then we asked residents how safe they feel in the city in different situations. Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
I think you skipped the last one on this page, as a place to raise children, which is very low.
Right, yeah, that does rate very low.
And that's probably because all the others are related to public education, and if you have a family, usually the primary objective is education for the children.
Yeah, absolutely, those are tied together, and this is consistent with what we've found, every year that we've done the survey. As a place to retire.
Places were low.
After you, Mayor. Okay. Well, were there any qualifier questions asked? For example, do you have children? Do you have children in the public school system? What is your opinion of the public school system?
Well, we did ask about. Sure.
I was going to ask that earlier because there's a disparity there, and I need to know what our real, to drill down.
Right.
How much we can rely upon some of these answers. That one happens to be a very controversial subject.
Sure.
A lot of people have an opinion without much fact. So the question becomes is, what can we get out of that we can rely on? Because that would reflect in a place to raise, as the councilwoman said, place to raise children and school, same thing, in many ways. So what do you think?
Right.
How much did you know about the persons who answered that question?
Right. We asked a number of demographic questions on the survey, and we did cross-tabulate some of those, but we could do other ones as well. We asked the age of the person filling out the survey. We also asked the age of all people in their household, so we can determine how households with young kids answer this question versus households with teenagers versus households that don't have any kids at all. So we can definitely look at this data in a lot more detail. This is just the overall result. But there's plenty of ways we can really dig into the data more.
With the existing survey material, you say you can slice and dice it more?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Yeah, we asked a number of demographic questions, so we can break the results down in a number of different ways with the current data that we have.
Okay. I mean, as I told you earlier, I wouldn't trust it by ward, but I would think it's more reliable by city, but still, that's a thing I'd like to ask for later, Your Honor. Thank you.
Sure. Sure. So then here are the comparisons for safety. There's two areas where the city is significantly above the national average: how safe residents feel downtown during the day, and also how safe they feel in their neighborhood at night. And then there is one area that's significantly below: how safe residents feel in city parks. And then here are the comparisons for customer service. Again, this is a real strong area for the city. We had a question that asked residents if they've contacted the city in the past year, and about 30% said they had. So of those who have contacted the city, we then ask these follow-up questions. We ask how they rate their interaction with city employees. So you can see in 3 of the 4 areas, the city is significantly above the national average. How courteous and polite city employees were. City employees giving prompt, accurate, and complete answers to questions. Doing things in a timely manner is pretty much on par with the national average. But then helping resolve issues to resident satisfaction is significantly above the national average. So then we also took a look at what should be some of the top priorities for the city. So this is the important satisfaction rating. And this is a tool that was created by ETC Institute over 20 years ago. And it's really a great way to help cities and counties set priorities. So this analysis is based on 2 questions on the survey. First, we asked residents how satisfied they are with city services. And we've seen examples of that type of question throughout the presentation. Then the follow-up question is, which of these services are the most important for the city to emphasize? So the idea here is the items that have a combination of a low satisfaction rating, but also a high importance should be the top overall priorities. So based on that, this table here is for major categories of city services. Top overall priority is economic development. Residents rate that as the second most important item out of these 14, and it ranked at the bottom in satisfaction, which makes it the number one priority overall. Second highest priority is maintenance of city streets, and then third is police services. And these have been the top three priorities each time we've done the survey. So we also did this type of analysis for some specific areas. This one specifically for maintenance services. Here we have a clear number one priority, which is the cleanliness of streets and other public areas. And then there's two items ranked second and third, which are rated pretty closely together: adequacy of city street lighting, and then maintenance of curbs and gutters on city streets.
If I might just ask a question here.
Sure.
Can,
Back to this.
yes.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. When you have that high priority that's overall quality of metropolitan police services, I'm wondering if our deputies, our marshals, are being considered police services. Wouldn't they be? Because all these other things that you've presented has shown a need in the park areas. The others, you know, it showed lack of feeling of security in the parks and other things.
Right.
So I just wanted to point that out because we have in the past here been seeking more help with marshals, and I didn't want it to get lost as metros.
Right.
But in here, when you've got high priority, overall quality of metropolitan police services, I think you're using data that came from the parks, and most of that is our marshals.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about this one, the satisfaction with police services is pretty high. You know, 69%, which ranks at 7th out of these 14 items. The reason it ranks high on this list, third overall, is because residents rated it as the number one most important item overall. So the satisfaction is good, but residents still rated it as very important, which kind of was what bumps it up on this list.
Except there's a difference between funding between Metro and between our marshals, and I just wanted to get that across.
Sure, sure, okay. So we looked at the maintenance one. Now this table is specifically for public safety. Here there's two items that rank near the top, but first and second is the highest priorities. First is the city efforts to prevent crime. Second is visibility of police in neighborhoods. And then the third highest priority, which this is a level down from those top two, how quickly police respond to emergencies. And then for community development and beautification services, here the number one priority is clearly enforcing the cleanup and removal of junk and debris. And then there's three areas that rate very closely together as the second, third, and fourth highest priorities: downtown parking access and information, graffiti removal, and then the exterior maintenance of residential property. And we have one more table. This is for parks, recreation, cultural, and community services. By far the top priority here is homeless services. And then there's two items that rate closely together as the second and third priorities: senior citizens programs and centers, and then the city's youth programs. So then just a quick recap. We saw that residents overall a very positive perception of city services. We saw a number of examples of that. We also saw that residents in each of the 6 wards are satisfied with the overall quality of services provided by the city. Then we looked at those benchmarking comparisons. Overall, satisfaction with city services is much higher in the city of Las Vegas than it is in other large cities. In particular, the overall quality of city services, and then customer service also is another area that really stood out. And then in order to maximize overall citizen satisfaction, the highest priorities should be economic development, maintenance of city streets, and police services.
Thank you.
So I know there's some questions already. I don't know if there's any others.
Well, I think to echo Councilwoman's statement, which I think we have known for a while, it certainly is an indication to management in budgeting that we probably need to beef up marshals and parks and put money into that so we have more personnel doing that based on this as you follow it up. But I think, I mean, that particular issue, and I know it is, everything is categorized with the dollars you have available. So just echoing what Councilwoman had seen in the report, but I think it's very informative, and certainly satisfying to us as we've seen the economy come back and begin that trend since the big recession.
Right.
So any questions, comments, any? We thank you very much, and really,
Your Honor?
Councilman, yes?
Yes, on benchmarking data, okay, there is a section on benchmarking data you've got here. But the question becomes is, can we get hold of, well, I should ask you, how many other firms are, besides ETC, are large in this field?
There's a couple others that are probably, there's one other that's probably about our size, another one or two that are probably a little bit smaller. So we're either the biggest or right equal to about the biggest.
They would fill in the rest of the map, most likely, that you showed us. Of the 49 states, nothing was in New Mexico, but so everything else, if we could get hold of some of that information, I don't know how proprietary it is, or does it become public domain once it's come out? So,
right.
Well, what is the answer on that?
I mean, we don't work with those other firms at all. So I guess if someone from the city were to contact them, I'm not sure what their response would be. But the data is public information, so I would think it's available to look at.
Well, I'm just curious because the more data you can get to just go beyond the comparison cities that we've used here.
Sure, and the tricky thing there would be if they ask the same questions in the same way, even though
True.
It's that especially you have to be real careful about that, checking the demographics and the way the questions are worded. So that may be useful, but it may not be.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it and very informative.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 41, discussion for possible action regarding the naming of Fire Station 107 Community Room located at 9398 Sundial Drive after David W. Steinman. This is in Ward 4 with Councilman Anthony. Morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. For the record, Ted Olivas, I'm the Chief of Staff. The item before you is to consider the naming of the community room at Fire Station 107 in Ward 4 after David W. Steinman. This was a request by Councilman Anthony. As you know, Mr. Steinman recently passed away. He has a long history in the city of Las Vegas. He was a planning commissioner from 2004 to 2008. Then he came in as the interim Ward 4 councilman from January through June of 2009. And then he was recently reappointed to the Planning Commission, and then tragically he passed. He is a person that's done a lot of stuff in this community. Many of us have worked with him professionally and have personal relationships with him. But this is in accordance, of course, with our naming policy, and this is for your consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Councilman Anthony, did you want to make comment? And what I'd like to do also is move up following this item, agenda item 46, the board and commission agenda. I think they vary.
That'd be great. Ted, good job. In addition to that, he was very active in Sun City, Summerlin. He was on quite a few committees. He was on the board of directors. He was the president of the board in Sun City, so he was very active in Sun City, and obviously he was very active in getting Fire Station 107 built. So I thought it would be appropriate to name the community center in Fire Station 107 after him. So with the City Council's support, we can do that, and then we will actually have a ceremony. We'll discuss how exactly we're going to do that, and Betsy, you and Ted can help me out, and we'll have a ceremony and an unveiling and invite everybody out there to do that. So I will, if it's okay, I'd like to make a motion to name the community room at Fire Station 107 after David W. Steinman.
Thank you very much. There's a motion. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries. Just beautiful idea, and I'm sure that you'll contacted, a good time for the family, everybody. Thank you, that's just a beautiful gesture, and I know he'd be smiling. I'm going to pull forward now to the board and commissions, agenda item 46, discussion for possible action regarding the appointment of a member to the Planning Commission to fill the unexpired term of David Steinman, who passed away. The procedure for this board is recommendation by the appropriate member of council with the approval of council. So Councilman Anthony, it is your recommendation, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I immediately thought of Greg and Donna Toussaint to go to the Planning Commission, and I'll have to give full disclosure. I know both of them very well, so I called up Donna and said, would you talk to your husband and tell me which one of you would like to be on? Because I didn't want to get in the middle of it, so I got a call back later and said from Donna saying she was going to do it. So I'm very glad to have her on the Planning Commission. She's very active in the community. They live in Desert Shores and Ward 4. She's served on commissions in the previously, so she knows what she's doing. And I just have to take my hat off to people that want to serve on the Planning Commission. I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, it used to be 2 meetings a month. Now it's 1 meeting a month. Probably going to have to go back to 2 meetings a month the way the agendas are coming up, and they have to meet with the developers before the meeting, and they do all that for $80 a meeting. So they put a lot of their own time into really making sure that this city council gets good land use recommendations, and they vet these things out a lot before they come to us. So I want to thank Donna for volunteering to serve. I know you're on crutches. Did you want to come up and say anything and introduce yourself? And thanks, Greg, for bringing her down here. And I know you're probably going to be helping her out quite a bit. So why don't you come on down and introduce yourself to everybody? I think everyone knows you.
Mayor, City Council, I am Donna Toussaint, and this is such an honor. Thank you very much. For a little girl who grew up in Las Vegas, who lived on the 100 block of Cleveland, lived on Chicago, lived on Lewis and Maryland Parkway and East St. Louis, and played at Fairfield Park, I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined this. So thank you very much.
We appreciate everything you've done in the past, both
And,
you and
you know,
your
it is
husband.
$80. And insanity does run rampant in our family. That's why we're always volunteering.
And on the Planning Commission.
Yes, thank you.
Councilman Beers, comment?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Donna. Is there a ward in which you have not lived?
No.
I don't think.
6. I haven't lived in 6.
Never lived in 6. Well, to be fair, that was only a part of the city 15 or 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Right? All right. And, Your Honor, can we violate minimum wage this blatantly?
They're volunteers.
Well, we're glad you're up and around.
Brian says they're volunteers, so technically, I guess we can.
Wonderful.
With that, Mayor, I would like to make a motion to appoint Donna Toussaint as the Ward 4 representative on the Las Vegas Planning Commission.
Wonderful. There's a motion to appoint Donna Toussaint to the Planning Commission. Please vote and please post. Unanimous. Welcome back home. We're proud of you. Okay, Councilman, 42 is yours, as I have a son who is involved in medical marijuana.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are on agenda item 42. This is a report by the Department of Planning staff and discussion for possible action regarding the status of the implementation of Question 2, the regulation and taxation of Marijuana Act, and provide appropriate direction to staff. This affects all wards. Ms. Duddleston, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. For the record, Karen Duddleston, Deputy Planning Manager or Deputy Planning Director, and with me today is Peter Lowenstein, who is our Planning Manager, to discuss the land use aspects of this. As we all know, the voters of Nevada approved Question 2 during the last general election. So as of January 1st, 2017, it is legal for persons 21 years of age to possess 1 ounce or less of marijuana, or 1/8 of an ounce of concentrated marijuana, such as oils, edibles, and drinks, and to grow for personal use 6 plants in the location if the location is over 25 miles from a licensed retail marijuana store. As of yet, there are no licensed retail marijuana stores open, And that's what brings us to you today, is to discuss and get some direction from the City Council on how you would like staff to proceed in the coming months. At this point in time, what we do know, and we've had discussions with the Department of Taxation, that they are working at 2 levels. They are first working on temporary regulations that they expect in early spring. We are expecting at any day either a draft of those or some postings for some workshops on those temporary regulations. They have shared with us that their goal in those temporary regulations is to issue dual licenses to the current medical marijuana retail stores and establishments to produce and to sell recreational retail at those locations and only at those locations. Over the next year, they will then address permanent regulations and additional retail recreational marijuana stores throughout the state. Your staff at this point in time has been working since November. We formed in November a marijuana policy operations team. That group is made up of city staff, department heads, our staff, as well as we have reached out to our partners in the community, such as the Health District, Metro, the Downtown Alliance, those sorts of other organizations working in our community to start to form teams to look at policy research and issues. There's also a state and local government task force. This is a group statewide that is identifying issues for legislative, state regulations, and local consideration and resolution. And about a week ago, Clark County announced that they will be developing a green ribbon advisory panel that is community-wide advisory panel, including industry and local government. So I just want to go through those entities at this point in time. The city group, these are the active members of that organization at this time. Everything from code enforcement, the city attorney, environmental protection, planning, metro, fire. Also, there is a law enforcement recreational marijuana council that is made up of all of the city attorneys from the local jurisdictions, the district attorneys, and all of the police and law enforcement agencies, and they are actively working on issues and concerns that are coming up through our law enforcement community. That team has identified several subgroups, one working on community issues. It's led by your youth development and community services departments. They are discussing homelessness issues, consumer protection, the type of issues that we may be seeing in some of those communities to make sure that they have an active role in what we see come out of the state in education and in concerns. We have a state regulation and response, also partnering with licensing and YDSI, and they're looking at education and youth prevention programs, server education. For example, in our liquor regulations from the state, we have requirements for those selling liquor to people to go through overconsumption, what they should be looking for, some sort of education standards for servers, and if anything's going to happen along those lines. Technical regulatory issues, and also health and safety issues. We've also got a data collection from talking with other entities such as Seattle, Denver, those sorts of places. Those local governments, especially the cities, were inundated with requests for data. What's your baseline data? What's your baseline sales? What's happening in the youth community? What's happening with your homeless population? And then a year later, what's changed? So we have a group that's working on a joint data repository to try to get the other governments involved.
I'd like to suggest consideration that you involve College of Southern Nevada representative or UNLV representative, so you have somebody from that youth body.
That's a wonderful suggestion, and we are reaching out to the other entities and the school district and those sorts of folks to try to get a community group together to start putting our statistics into
To me, it's looking at
joint.
age, the right age of children. We don't want youngsters using it unless they have the medical issue.
Right.
And that's why the older body of College of Southern Nevada or UNLV to have a representative from them.
We will invite them.
Thank you.
We also have a land use team that is looking at regulations pertaining to marijuana recreational retail stores, as well as other regulations for other types of businesses that we may see come out of this issue. We have an enforcement and inspection team that's looking at the rules and regulations in city buildings, in city parks. What do we need to update for our own organization, as well as special events, how those will be handled, and the public versus private use issues. We have a public information team. We've had a lot of requests for information and cards to be able to hand out to our tourists, to residents, handling media questions, as well as developing a list of frequently asked questions and answers so we can get them up on our website for folks looking for information. We have an environmental committee that's looking at the odor issues, employee protection, the Indoor Clean Air Act and how that may apply to this, disposal, pesticides, and hazardous materials. And then we have a local regulation coordination team that's led by licensing. They're looking and participating in the state temporary and permanent regulations, discussing edibles and on-site consumption, as well as the issue of marijuana paraphernalia and drug paraphernalia and how those are now coming together with these new regulations. Agent grows and delivery, and working with the other local governments on that. Which brings us to the local government task force. These are some of the issues that they've identified. They delivered a 9-page document. We forwarded that to your offices yesterday. And that is made up of local governments from Sparks, Washoe County, Southern Nevada, several of the rural cities and counties are also participating. And they came up with questions and issues for the state regulating state taxation on the issues that they've seen in trying to implement the medical program to see how they plan to address those issues in the retail program. The County Green Ribbon Panel sent out an application form. They have, will be sending requests for each local jurisdiction to have a person on that. They have these categories: gaming control, laboratory testing, resort association, production, establishment, resort hotels, marijuana patient advocate, dispensary establishment, industry association, cultivation, and the Nevada Retail Association on that panel to sit with local government representatives. And they have also sent a request for all of our departments to provide research and recommendations on various issues for that panel to consider. Their goal would be to come up with some community recommendations that each of the local governments may consider in developing their recommendations. So the current issues at this time from a staff perspective that we would like to get some feedback from you on. First is land use requirements and issues and your thoughts and concerns for retail or recreational stores. The dual licensing proposal that the state is proposing for July 1st, where medical would be able to sell retail, if that's something that you want to see staff work on at this point in time. To discuss public spaces and the definition of that, and the on-premise consumption question. It was one of the issues that came up at the county, and that is to talk about lounges and how you want us to participate in these statewide recommending groups. So if we can, we'll start with land use and the group that has been working on the land use question, and I'll ask Peter to go through that real quickly.
All right, thank you. Peter Lowenstein, Department of Planning. Staff has prepared 3 possible actions for the City Council to consider regarding land use regulation. The first being a moratorium on retail marijuana sales for a specific period of time. This would allow for additional input from either any of the boards or commissions that Karen had mentioned, as well as clarification from the state, which will be coming in the future to our questions. Secondly, the council could consider the establishment of a new use category for the retail and recreational specific marijuana uses and address non-waivable distance separations as part of that. And thirdly, the council can merge the medical and the retail recreational into one use category in an interim for the dual licensing establishments, or permanently for all marijuana uses going forward, and it would basically be dropping off the medical marijuana dispensary just to a marijuana dispensary to cover all of those two particular uses.
So that would be the discussion. Land use is one of those areas where we have a long process. We have to take any recommendations and proposals to Planning Commission before we can bring them to the City Council. So that would be one of our first steps at the time that you designate for us to address. The next question is the dual licensing. In question 2, and state taxation have informed us that they do anticipate dual licenses for the first 18 months of implementation, and that is that the current medical licensees would have the opportunity to apply to state taxation to also get a license for retail sales. They believe that they're going to have those recommendations and those licenses ready to issue in July. And while there are lots of questions surrounding how that happens and how product gets be made available, that is the information that we have at those time. So the city could certainly consider a first step is to develop a dual license category where it would be limited only to those that have your current medical licenses to be able to operate in the retail or recreational category. We could have them operate under the same regulations or ordinances as your medical. That would save us time and get those things out quickly if that's something you'd like us to entertain and take a look at for you. And then we could deal with additional retail or recreational only stores at a future date once we see what the permanent state regulations are going to look like.
Let me stop you right there then. On this dual licensing slide, you're recommending all of these, all of the above then?
From the committee that's been working on that, yes, that would be our recommendation based on what kind of timing that you all want to set for us. But if the path is to, and the direction is to get retail recreational stores open as quickly as possible, this would be the quickest way to do that.
All right, please continue. Thank you. Councilman Coffin?
Thank you. I wanted to make sure this is a public hearing, correct, with testimony allowed from the public? I do need to know that because we have interested parties in the audience. Before we vote on anything today, I just want to know if we have the ability to seek public.
It's not agendaed as a public hearing, Councilman?
But Mayor Pro Tem, if you'd like, you can allow.
Well, we'll get testimony, Councilman.
Okay, thank you.
Please continue your presentation, Ms. Dennison.
Thank you. The next issue that we need to get some clarification on, I know there will be a great deal of discussion at the legislature. There will also be a great deal of discussion most likely at the state regulations come forward, and that is the definition of public place and where marijuana can be consumed. The definition that is in question 2 says an area which the public is invited or in which the public is permitted regardless of age. Public place does not include a retail marijuana store, which seems, from a staff perspective, and I'll let the city attorney weigh in, that there would be an opportunity for those retail marijuana stores to have on-site consumption lounges. And it would be up to the local government then to determine under what conditions, if that is something that you all want to allow, would it be in separate areas, in common areas? How would that all come together? If that's something you want to entertain. The next item is that it appears is that there's that it says that the legislature may amend provisions to provide for the conditions in which localities may permit consumption of marijuana in the retail store. Also, we understand there may be entertainment at the state level to allow independent consumption lounges, which is basically on-premise consumption for us. The county has asked specifically at the staff level that we put together some research and thoughts on not having lounges in dispensaries, but having them be independent and located in certain areas of the community. So if that's something that the City Council would like us to research or like us to enter into conversations with, we would need to get some feedback from you all on the lounges in dispensaries, other lounges, or other commercial spaces, or if you want us to look at any further definitions of public spaces. And then the last slide I really have is to open it up to you all and get some direction. Do you want us to take these items that we've identified and work through the Green Remedy panel and work through the state regulations, wait to see what those organizations come up with and bring things back to you? Is there specific research you want to see from us? Is there specific timing of these things that you want to see from us? We don't know when that Green panel will begin meeting. We do not know at this point in time when we will see draft state regulations and be able to get you information on that. So our question here today is from you, is when do you expect to see something from us, and what concerns should we make sure we are researching and addressing in what we bring back to you?
Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Karen, very good segue. As it relates to the question you just asked the Mayor Pro Tem and Council, the question that I would like to impose upon you is your recommendation in relation to that, specifically as to how, in fact, your office will continue to move forward addressing the concerns that we know that you're capable and able to bring back or prepare for the council in advance or in how would I say it, in a position that could possibly anticipate what's going to happen at the state level or the green ribbon recommendations that they'll be coming back with. I know that there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of uncertainty as to these, what can happen and what cannot happen within the 18-month period of those that are currently licensed and have the appropriate land use within the city of Las Vegas proper. In addition to that, the questions as to whether or not the lounges can be operated within the dispensary today, moving forward. Can those same entities open up additional retail or cultivation locations within that 18-month period? I mean, those are the questions that I need answered, and was really looking forward to you to help explain how that all plays out today.
And we have asked those specific questions in that 9-page document to state taxation, to ask them how are they going to deal with the recreational system, which is located at state health, behavior and mental health, and has a seed to sale tracking system where those plants are tracked and designated for medical, and then create a retail or recreational market is how that is going to come together. We have asked the specific question on if they are going to open up additional licenses for cultivation or production to be able to do retail sales or have on-site consumption or something like that. They have been clear to us that no, it would just be dispensaries that they would be looking at.
Just dispensaries, not cultivation?
Not cultivation at this point in time.
Okay.
They will be issuing cultivation licenses for recreational, but they do not know under what conditions, or they have not shared that with us, and we have not seen their regulations on how cultivation moves from medical to recreational
and that's
retail.
exactly where I was going next in relation to under the municipal, I'm saying municipal when I should be medicinal, under the medicinal component of marijuana. There's a lead time that a seed must be planted, where in fact where does that seed come from in order for it to be planted, in order for there to be a product in preparation for the dispensaries today, right?
Correct.
And so now that there's a demarcation between medicinal marijuana and now recreational due to the state's approval during the last election cycle, how in fact do we anticipate the recreational side having that lead time in order to grow, or will they take it from the medicinal and basically apply it under one roof but have it dispensed in two different directions? A portion of it is created for the medicinal and the other portion is created for the recreational, and still being able to track that. Do we have an answer?
We do not have an answer. We specifically asked that question of state taxation about 2 weeks ago, specifically in that manner, because we've seen different models. We see a model in Colorado where they're actually tracked separately at a cultivation facility. They're grown under the same roof, but those plants are tracked separately. The state of Washington, for example, really has gone to the retail market, so everything's retail until it's sold. And then there's some different rules that apply to medical.
So in essence, what you're saying, just so that I may follow you, that in Washington, in Seattle in particular, it's grown under one roof, it's all tracked, and at the sale point, it either goes to medicinal or recreational. Am I saying that correctly? Am I following you correctly?
That was our understanding from meeting with them. I don't know about the tax structure in Washington and if it's taxed differently. What I do know is that there's different allowances for dosages and those sorts of things between what can be sold, products that can be sold for recreational retail use, and what can be dispensed to a medical patient.
Okay. And going back to the lounge, explain how, to your knowledge, how the lounge could potentially work today. Could those that are currently licensed by way of the state and the land use through the municipalities have an opportunity to open a lounge, or if in fact they have an opportunity to open up new locations within the municipalities, which then dovetails back into the question of land use for expanded retail within our respective jurisdictions?
And I believe that those are issues that would have to be dealt with first in your land use and how we would allow on-site consumption, because the land use right now is for medical. It is not for retail or recreational. Our land use says medical. So we need to address the land use piece. We would need to address on-site consumption and whether those would be inside of a dispensary or if you would anticipate those being at other locations. And we would also have to address that on the licensing side. Right now, our understanding is from reading this, and I'll ask the city attorney to jump in and help out here, our reading from this is that it's in a dispensary, a current dispensary. It's not allowed in any other location. That would have to come, and we understand that Senator Segerblum has discussed having a bill at the legislature that would allow additional locations for on-site consumption.
So with so many uncertainties as it relates to what in fact could potentially come out of the state legislature, being that they're in session now, and I believe they'll conclude sometime around June, depending on special sessions, moving forward, the potential of a special session. And in addition to the Green Ribbon Committee that was established by the county, as I understand, is still basically in the formation of being created and establishing policies, procedures, and ultimately coming back to the county with their formal recommendations. Is there necessarily a rush for the city of Las Vegas in particular to create something that can ultimately be in conflict or something that we are unable to do based on state statute?
And that's the dilemma that staff is facing now with being asked to create something in an ordinance form for you to consider. We would either need clear direction and the city would step out before we have those unknown pieces in place, or we would wait to see what framework the state and what policy recommendations some of these other organizations come back with, and let you consider that at that time in formulating what you would like to see.
And Councilman,
Would it be possible for us?
Can Mr. Scott perhaps?
Councilor, I was just going to indicate that, yeah, that's kind of the direction I think that staff is seeking from the council today as to what that timing should be. Should these regulations be done by July 1st, prior to the time that the state fully gets their regulations in place, or should we be waiting and making sure that our laws are in conformance with what the state would come up with?
Right, and that, Mr. Scott, that was the direction I was moving, and thank you for that, by the way. But that was the exact direction that I was moving, being that there's so many moving parts at the state level, because there's certain things that the state will mandate for the local municipalities to do, right? Which could be in complete conflict of what we propose here today. And so my suggestion, recommendation would be that you continue to move forward with what you're able to do, keeping up with what's transpiring in the state legislature, following what's transpiring with the Green Ribbon Committee, and at a later date within, whether it be the July, August, September months, you'll have an opportunity to bring this council back something that will, helps to make more sense and be able to provide us with enough content in order for us to make a decision at that particular time. I believe that it's premature, in my opinion, at this point to specifically tell you what we want when in fact we don't know what other entities, what other agencies such as the state and the Blue Ribbon Committee may add to the benefit of what we're proposing or what we could potentially propose you to do today. That would be my position.
Thank you,
Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilman. And Councilman Kaufman, before you go ahead, are you guys finished with your presentation?
We are.
Okay,
Mayor Pro
Councilman
Tem.
Kaufman, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I would say, I'll try to be brief in my suggestions. Number one, I think we should act as quickly as possible. That I think we should show the state what we have done, because that is what we would like, as opposed to letting them essentially tell us what they would like, and that we have to conform. And by the time we have to conform, the legislature has adjourned, so there would be no remedy for 2 years from what they might do that is awkward and cumbersome, as they were coming out of 2013. So I'd like us to participate in the Green Ribbon Commission. It's my opinion. One thing that I have a problem with is giving you any specific direction on many of these items on that 9-page memo, because we just got this late yesterday afternoon. So I have to just say, in general terms, I want us to be as liberal as possible on the enactment of this and our drawing up of regulations and our ordinances, because we made a mistake in 2013. We did it the hard way. We took the statute and then we made it as tough as possible to get into business and then to do business. And we are still unwinding some of the regulations that were done. Your staff had to be very cautious because it did not know whether the council would even want to have medical marijuana in its boundaries, even though it had been approved by the voters many years before, and then subsequently in that session of 13. Well, we should learn from that, and that is that we're still unwinding what we did in 13, 14, and 15. So I think we should lean on the way on the side of helping this business move forward. And yeah, we've got to pay due attention to all the local concerns, the neighborhood concerns, all of the things that we would normally do. But let's not tie it up with so much red tape that people can't get into business, they can't afford to get into business, and they can't afford to stay in the business. That's why we have another bill coming, as you know, Karen, on the subject of equity amongst the jurisdictions and reducing the amount of red tape, the kind of self-imposed hardship we created on the people who would do business in our city limits. So again, those are just general philosophical thoughts. Act as quickly as possible. I can't give you specific direction on things like what's in here in these 9 pages, but whatever we do it faster than the state, because they will take forever up in Carson City. It's just inevitable. Writing regulations based on the statute, which finally gets created, and probably won't get passed until the end of the session in early June. Let's participate as a group with people so we don't have such differences between the municipalities. Hopefully, the more we do together, the more likelihood there will be uniformity. It's a lot less confusing to the public. So that's my general thought for you.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman, did you want to hear the public before you want to speak, or do you want to go ahead?
Did I want to hear what?
Hear from the public so they can get their
Well,
comments
I
on the
just
record?
thought, because it pertained to what he said, I thought you did a good job. And I think you worked very hard, and I know some things were tougher and had to be loosened, but it's a lot easier to loosen than tighten up after you're loose. So I think that was very good what you did. And I would also say, Bob, that I don't want it as liberal as possible at the beginning because I'm already getting complaints. I'm getting complaints, strong complaints. I think it was 3 days ago, an email from a father very upset. He doesn't smoke at all, and his house is being permeated with marijuana smell. Where is it coming from? Evidently his neighbor. When we talked to the marijuana people, they said, oh, no, this will be contained. You won't have to worry. We do this. But that's not happening. And that's following the other one that I had when he went to an entertainment venue downtown, which was about a month ago. And he said he had to leave because the marijuana smoke was so high. I think if you want to smoke marijuana for recreational purposes, that's okay. But I don't think we would be should be so liberal as to where they want to, where they're going to smoke it, if it's going to involve children getting the smoke smell and families that have become as irate as this gentleman done.
Mayor
Now,
Pro
Bob and
Tem.
I disagree on this.
Yeah.
And I've told him he can take everyone from my, but I will also tell you, for the rules that you set up, Karen, in Ward 1, I have not had complaints other than people who wanted to save money. Marijuana people wanted to save money and they wanted to save time. I have found that almost every single marijuana person who came in would bring some local people in, and then they'd have some big-time person who was making lots of money in other states. And that was really what was the crux behind a lot of stuff and a lot of push that we had. It was not from our local people so much, it was from those people who wanted to make more money more quickly. So I just want to...
Mayor Pro Tem, can I answer? Because
Absolutely.
I want to engage just for a second here. I obviously used the wrong term, liberal, because I meant it in the classical sense, not in the political spectrum sense these days. We have an ability to be flexible. So I suppose I used that.
I think flexibility might have been good.
Well, let's use
But
flexibility.
liberal, rather political or not, means that you can go in all directions.
Well, it's just that the idea is that we told staff to make it real tight because they didn't know how to count to 4. They didn't know if there was even a majority. That's why it was done so tightly. And now they know. Not only have there been another vote of the people, and this one pretty overwhelming.
Thank you both. I think
But we
Mr.
don't have to
I think Mr.
debate
Scott
the
wants to
issue.
chime in on.
Just something
Councilwoman.
short, Mayor Pro Tem. I think we're going to clear up what the councilwoman's concern and her constituents' concern with our definition of public places and public spaces. So those instances where there are kids around and things of that nature, you wouldn't have, that would be considered a public place where you would not be able to smoke. So,
And we can have those discussions.
sure,
So-
and those discussions we'll be having when we actually see what the
And
other
may-
jurisdictions are doing.
Maybe our new odor machine will take
Yes.
care of the problem. I hope so.
I saw Vicki here earlier.
I know you need to continue, so.
No, thank you, Councilman and Councilwoman. I think I'm going to open it up for 1 minute from the public to get your comments on the record. I think 1 minute would work for each of you who wants to speak on this. Please state
Good
your name for the
morning.
record.
For the record, my name is Mona Lisa Samuelson, and I do have a very good recommendation. We need something on there for medical marijuana patients, because although you have a lot of money going in on the recreational side, you have to remember that this is all based for medical marijuana patients here in the beginning. So you're going to be putting them off. Here you have a group for state and local task force. You had one for the MJ Policy Operations, you had one for Environmental Committee, even Public Use, and yet nothing for medical marijuana patients. Please put that on as something that's most important.
I thought I've been to two dispensaries in my ward, and they're selling it for
Right,
medical
the
marijuana.
medical is already in place, so this would only address recreational. And we-
Exactly, but we have so many issues that go that go side by side. When you're talking medical marijuana and what we need, we still don't have a set-up system that medical patients can get the plant, because once again, I'm a medical patient.
Thank
I'm
you, Ms.
bedridden if
Sampson.
I don't have
Thank you,
leaves.
Mrs.
I can get all the buds
Ms.
in the
Sampson,
world.
Thank you, we got it.
Thank you.
I would request that the council not have dialogue with the public comment at this time. Let's just get the public's comments on the record, and we'll move from there. Please introduce yourself. Thank you, Ms. Samuelson.
Good morning, Vicki Higgins, pardon me. Cannabis advocate and patient first and foremost. Disclaimer, I'm managing a facility in Clark County and I have ownership in North Las Vegas. So I speak first and foremost as a patient. As this is implemented with the recreational bill being piggybacked onto the rules of our medical program, what we're trying to say is please, please protect the medical patient. If you bunch us all up, the nanogram issues, the intoxication issues, they're all going to get mixed up. And you have been so patient and receptive and helpful. Your staff has been amazing. You're forming these committees. We're just asking that we can be part of this. Yeah, my bosses, you know, we want that. But we as patients have specific needs and protections that have yet to be implemented. If the public consumption is an issue, at the very least, could we put gathering places for the patients of Nevada? I realize that public consumption is a big issue, but I'd like to see the patients taken care of as well. You are protecting our rights. If you could help represent that at the legislation, we'd really appreciate it because you're big voices for us.
Thank you for your comments. Please introduce yourself.
We are really curious about this 9-page document you guys keep talking about. Cindy Brown, patient advocate. We're curious about the 9-page document. And when it comes to the difference on medical and recreational on public consumption, my feeling is if you can smoke a cigarette, which gives you cancer, you should be able to smoke cannabis in that same spot, which removes cancer. Lots of documentation on that. Brother-in-law to prove it, and a husband. The other thing is, went out of my head, never mind. But thank you guys for all the work that you've done so far. We appreciate all you've done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Thank you, everybody from the public who wishes to comment. Ms. Duddleston.
Mayor Pro Tem, could I just ask, are these ladies telling us that as patients, they're not able to get the marijuana now?
No, we can get it.
Okay, so we did do right by medical marijuana. That's all.
Councilman, please.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's
He'll get
probably
mad
a good
at me
idea.
and he'll throw me off the program.
I'm sorry, but Mayor Pro Tem, I've got to
Councilman
help her
Coffin,
understand.
please.
We didn't do it right. We still have another bill with at least 15 amendments to help the medical marijuana process move forward for getting the recreational. Councilman Beers and I have requested this bill. You'll be seeing it very soon.
You mean,
We're not done.
Okay, that's
what
okay
they're.
then.
We're trying to get that fixed, and
We're still trying to
so
unwind.
Thank you for your comments, ladies. Appreciate it. I'm going to turn to my right here to see. Well, let me give you my comments before my two colleagues share theirs. A lot of agreements with all my colleagues to my left in regards to moving forward, but I want to specifically talk about, Mr. Lowenstein, can you bring up the land use options that you had up earlier, please, or Ms. Duddleston? Okay, the land use and local regulations, I'm leaning towards the merge the medical and retail recreation on the one use category in the interim for those dual license establishments. And I say that or permanently for all marijuana uses going forward. I think we need to be prepared and ready for that. And I think what my recommendation is going to be to staff is make this as simple as possible for us. I think Councilman Coffin makes a good point, is that we set the standard. You've got so many committees working on this already, that whole long list of your teams working on this already. I think the City of Las Vegas as an agency is leaps and bounds in front of others. Recognizing that the county's putting this green label task force together, that's great. Understanding that the legislature may drag their feet, they may not drag their feet. We don't know what's coming, but I think Councilman Coffin is hitting it on the head that we need to take a leadership role in this once again as the City of Las Vegas, as we did before with medical marijuana. That's my thought. So I'm going to be leaning towards giving you your direction on the option 3. On the dual licensing issue, I think that would simplify things for your department, Ms. Duddleston, in regards to just do the dual licensing. We have 18 months to kind of understand and figure out how this is going to work. Councilwoman is right. If we set the standards at a certain level, it's easier to walk backwards. At least I thought it was, because we're presenting another ordinance to have some duality with the county right now. I think it's imperative that we continue to work with the local organizations, the other agencies, and this green ribbon task force that the county's putting together. We're already doing it internally to see what that's going to look like. So I think we just need to be prepared for whatever the legislature hands down to us. And be part of that discussion. So let's set some standards, let's be part of that discussion and try to lead by example, and make it easy on the City of Las Vegas in transitioning over to this area. The public space issue, I've got a bunch of question marks down on my notes because I don't know how to give you guidance and direction on that. I'd really like to see what the legislature says what that really means. And Mr. Scott, I think we have to define that in our own codes and ordinances of what that public space means. It's going to be very difficult for any kind of enforcement to make that happen. So I think that still needs to be part of the bigger discussion as we go. But I think for the city of Las Vegas, let's set some guidelines and standards that makes it as clean as possible and as simple as possible for our departments moving forward, but flexible enough to make any changes if we have to down the road. So those are my comments, and I'll open it up to Councilman Anthony, Councilman Pierce. Councilman Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. A couple of points and questions. Is the 9-page document now a public document?
Mayor Pro Tem, I just want to emphasize that is not a City of Las Vegas document. That is a compilation from local government staff across the state. It was delivered to the Department of Taxation. It was filed with them. Yes, it is a public document. We're happy to share it, and I know the Department of Taxation has it as comments toward their regulations, which are all public.
And just for clarification, it's just a list of questions that the entities have for state taxation, right?
It's a list of questions, and it also has a section provided by some local governments in ways that they would like to see the state taxation participate in the development of regulations to include local government and some of their concerns.
So we can get a copy to the advocate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ms. Delson, would you provide a copy to the city clerk as well to add to this record? Thank you.
I will have it with me.
Councilman
Okay, second point, I think the point, Councilwoman Tarkanian, I think the point that Mona Lisa Samuelson was making is that she prepares lotions and things, from what I can tell from having talked with her, from the leaves of the plant. However, in a dispensary, you're usually only able to buy the flowers of the plant. And that, I think, is specifically the concern that she was registering.
Oh.
Given that there's a market, I'm surprised that growers are not making bags of leaves available for sale, but that's not really part of our discussion today. So I just wanted to clarify. I believe she's nodding her head.
So they're getting it.
They want the leaves to prepare lotions and salves
I got
and
those
to
leaves,
eat it.
the lotions. I understand.
So that's what that comment was about.
Thank you.
I too am a little puzzled with Mayor Pro Tem Ross on the definition of a public space, and am happy to wait out the legislature to see where they go. In agreement with Mayor Pro Tem Ross, I like the merge medical and retail recreational into one each category. But I'd take it a step further based on the language of question 2, essentially saying that existing dispensaries, existing medical dispensaries will become existing recreational outlets. Did the question 2 said that, right?
I don't know.
Yes, for 18 months.
For 18.
So for the first 18 months, is it true only the medical dispensaries can be recreational outlets?
That's correct, Councilman.
So given that the question places this matter already kind of on autopilot, I don't think we need to have legislative direction on that piece of it. And perhaps one way forward is to eliminate medical from our ordinance. Just take out the word medical. And I haven't looked very hard at it, and I see some head shakes back there from the patient advocates. But I haven't seen that as a potential solution to get the goal that the citizens voted on accomplished a little bit faster than we got the medical marijuana use accomplished. I think that was 12 years. Well, those are my thoughts, Your Honor.
Councilman Bartle.
Thank you, sir. Karen, real briefly, Councilman Coffin was so gracious to allow me to peruse the document here that reads Recreational Marijuana State Department of Taxation and Regulations. Who created the document?
This document was compiled by Clark County business licensing staff, cities, staff level participants from cities around the state have been on a series of conference calls, in particular with the Department of Taxation, asking some questions. So as you will see, many of those do not apply to the city. They
Correct.
are a compilation in order for those staff who have been implementing it across the state to put their concerns. Taxation asked us all if we would put everyone's concerns into one document so they could look at them all at the same time.
Right.
So
And so within this document, is the city of Las Vegas represented?
the city of Las Vegas did contribute, yes.
Okay. Is there anything in addition that needs to be added to this document that is not currently there?
From our internal organization, we have groups that are working on questions of public information, education, those sorts of things that might not at this point in time be represented in that document.
Okay. And moving on to the next question, from a policy procedure standpoint, the direction that I would like to see is that you continue to move forward working in relation to positioning the city of Las Vegas in the best position possible for our residents. Understanding that I would like, of course, for you to work with the other municipalities, because I would like to see how, in fact, we could, as a region, have one, if it's at all possible, have one unanimous voice in relation to how, in fact, this will be able to play out so that North Las Vegas, Henderson, Clark County, and the city of Las Vegas won't be operating by its own separate rules and guidelines. I would like to see some concerted effort for that to take place, because by doing so, we'll have somewhat of a balanced understanding from the business community as well as those consumers, having an understanding how, in fact, the laws apply the same across jurisdictional lines. Moving forward, there's an opportunity through the state for the state to potentially mandate municipalities to do certain things under what could potentially come out of the state legislature. Is that true?
Yes.
Right. And so if in fact we establish something today, it could run in conflict with what could potentially come out of the state legislature. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And so, not to say that we should stop, I suggest that you continue to move forward, but understanding that that potential does present, a potential conflict, or it could basically be something that can be in alignment with what you've created. But I believe that, when we talk about taking a leadership role in establishing rules and guidelines, I don't want to see your office basically do things that ultimately could affect what you put in place and be unraveled at the end of the day. And so my suggestion, recommendation would be that, of course, you continue to walk and move swiftly, but at the same time, nothing etched in stone until at least the legislature is closed. And then we'll have an opportunity to see what comes out of that, because just as well as I do, we're creatures of the state. And so that's my position. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilman Barlow. Councilwoman, did you want to add something to that? Are you okay? Okay. Councilman Beers, will you help me with giving staff a little bit of direction?
Well, stone etching around here takes 3 months minimum. And I think we're about 3 months from the end of the legislative session, I think. So I'm not sure that there's much we can do to get ahead of the legislature on this in the first place. I too share the concerns of staff and Councilman Barlow that we don't want to be in conflict with anything the legislature is going to do without really thinking about it hard. But I am not sure that I see how the third option on the screen here, merging medical and retail recreational into one use category in the interim for those dual license establishments, or permanently for all marijuana uses going forward, either one of those, I can't see a potential conflict with what the legislature is going to do. In fact, I don't believe anything in question 2 diminishes the local government's responsibility, sole responsibility, over the land use component. Is that true?
You're correct, Councilman.
So, given that it would seem that land use is going to stay in our lap here, It seems to me the speediest possible outcome, if we wanted to go that way, down this option 3 path, is going to put us about at the end of the session with a land use ordinance that is ready to go, regardless of what the legislature says about public spaces or this or that or the other. And so I guess I'll throw out a motion and we can vote it down if you want. I would move that we direct staff to that this third option on the screen regarding land use is the way we would like to go, and that we don't want to take any action on defining public spaces yet until we get more legislative input. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I think if I can, Councilman, add your motion, the dual licensing, just follow the same regs that we're following right now, Ms. Duddleston, I think was one of your recommendations to us. Just stay the course, make this simple, make this as painless as possible. Again, further discussion with the other agencies in Southern Nevada and the legislature on the public space issue.
Yeah, I would include that in my motion. And again, I don't think under the language of the question that we can have non-medical establishments selling recreational for 18 months. That's actually slower than we can get it done.
Okay.
So I'm happy waiting on all that.
Mr. Scott, did you want to add something? I see your hands moving.
No, that's okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, question on the motion.
Please, Councilman.
Thank you. And Councilman Beers, you're absolutely correct, and that's exactly what I was saying in my entire conversation here, is that allowing Ms. Duddleston to continue to move down the trail that she and her staff are going through right now, as far as being able to do those things that we at the municipal level can do, such as land use, things that we control, but at the same time understanding and watching how in fact the legislature is moving so that we don't run in conflict with the proposals that are running through the state legislature. So from a land use standpoint, you are absolutely correct. We need to establish those guidelines and principles now, because if we put them in the pipeline now, by the time it gets back to us, it would be fairly the end of the legislative session. And so I totally agree with you 100%. That's exactly what direction I was suggesting that we move in.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, there's a
So
motion.
we've counted to 2.
There's a motion on the floor, Council. Let's go ahead and vote. Giving staff direction. And please post. And that's the mayor abstention as well. And that motion passes. Ms. Duddleston, Mr. Lowenstein, I think we've got direction. Thank you. Mayor, welcome back.
Mayor
Yes.
Pro Tem, I was just going to say, and that's in case the state provides information this time, which they didn't previously. Remember, we had to wait, and we were right up there and we wouldn't get answers. So I hope it turns out okay for you, Karen.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor, welcome back.
Okay, it's hard for me to be silent. I'm so good silent. Lordy. Okay, we're on to agenda item 43, discussion for possible action regarding the approval of an appeal of a work card denial for Leonard Davis doing business at 711 number 29659 Bede at 1215 Stewart Avenue. This is in Ward 5 with Councilman Barlow. Ms. Duddleston.
Thank you, Your Honor. This item was before you and obeyed to today. At the last meeting, the owner-operator of 7-Eleven was not present at your city council meeting, and it was specifically requested that we contact them and ask them to be present today. The report is before you. The Metropolitan Police Department is present should you have any questions about that report. This is the case where the applicant at this point in time has a position. He is able to sell alcohol as long as there is someone on site with a work card that is a supervisor or the manager over that alcohol. He is requesting, and the owner is requesting, that he be allowed to either work by himself as a person in charge of those alcohol sales, or as the shift manager and person in charge, which would require a work card.
And your recommendation is?
Our recommendation, due to the report based on, from the Metropolitan Police Department, is for denial.
Okay. Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for the update. Mr. Waller, you and your employee, please come forward. Mayor and Council, just as an update, in communications with Mr. Waller and his employee, they've they're willing or would like to withdraw this item without prejudice, understanding that the employee is currently on probation, and as he works through that and communicating with my office in the city of Las Vegas, upon coming off of probation, I would like to revisit this conversation. So at this particular time, understanding that the employee will not lose his job, right?
True.
And the fact that the employer is here in support of the employee, this council has always tilted toward the side of the employer who's willing to stand up for his employee to basically provide him provide them an opportunity to be not only tax-paying citizens, but upstanding citizens in this community who are getting their life on track to do great things moving forward. And so, Mr. Wall, I want to thank you for being here to stand with your employee in support of his efforts to move his life forward, because with my staff speaking to him, we understand that he's looking forward to putting all of the issues from his past, keeping them behind him so that he can move forward with a much clearer path of being productive and a greater asset to the community. So at this time,
So,
is there
Mr. Davis, is
anything
that
you
your
would like to share?
request to withdraw without prejudice?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, and so therefore,
Is there anything that you would like to share, sir?
Yes, would respected Mayor and Councilman reconsider his case? He's been with us for the past 8 months. He's a very good employee, always comes on time, has a smile on his face, treated the customer very good. I'm so proud of him. And I have 4 7-Eleven stores in the city, 2 in close to downtown right here. And we'd like to give opportunity to disadvantaged people who are, it's hard for them to get a job.
So
We'd like
true.
to put them on a right path. And this young man has proven, given the opportunity, he can improve. So with the work permit, I can put him himself on third shift or second shift. Right now, he's only restricted to 1 store. If he gets the work permit, then he can move it on, get more hours. So that's why I request if you can reconsider him in future time.
Right. And I'm willing to do that most definitely. And so, you know, of course, it's based on the entire council. But I'm most definitely willing to remain in contact with you. And as that probation comes to an end, we'll basically revisit it at that time. And so at this time, Mayor and Council, I would like to move for a withdrawal without prejudice of this item.
thank you very much. There's a motion to withdraw without prejudice on agenda item 43. Please vote and please post.
Thank you. And good luck to you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Carries. Thank you for coming down. Agenda item 44, as you know, has been obeyed to the 5th of April. So we'll move on to agenda item 45. Let me read that, and then Ms. Duddleston, you'll go from there. Discussion for possible action regarding the suspension of the business licenses and to approve or deny the permanent restaurant, service bar, and smoke shop hookah lounge licenses. Karma Ultra Lounge, LLC, DBA Karma Ultra Lounge at 5900 West Charleston Boulevard, Suite 8. Edgar Williams Flores, managing member, and this is Ward 1 with Councilwoman Tarkanian.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, for the record, Karen Duddleston, Deputy Planning Director. I have a letter from the applicant to read into the record, if I might.
Please.
It is addressed to me, dated March 1st, 2017. Dear Ms. Duddleston, on behalf of Edgar Flores, licensee for Karma Ultra Lounge, please consider this letter as acknowledgement that the following licenses are being surrendered this day without prejudice. Restaurant Service Bar P6400242, Smoke Shop Hookah Lounge P6400243, Restaurant G6406429, Tobacco Dealer G6406444. Thank you respectfully, Jim DeFiore, DeFiore Consulting. With that and the closure of this business licensing would recommend that the council consider a motion to accept the surrender of those licenses, and this business will be closed today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councilwoman?
I move to make that motion, and that is to accept the surrender of all the licenses and to do it with non-prejudice.
Okay, that's your motion.
That's my motion.
Thank you. Please vote and please post. Great. And that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Duddleston. We already heard 46. As you know, that was Ms. Toussaint's appointment. So we're on to 47, recommended committee bills eligible for adoption later meeting. Bills 47 through 49, bills number 2017-2 through 2017-4 will be heard later meeting. We will move on to new bills. Bill number 50, new bills. Bill number 2017-5, bills number 50, bill number 2017-5 will be heard recommending committee meeting on Monday, March 13th, 2017. City Attorney, would you please read the new bill?
Yes, Mayor. Bill number 2017-5, an ordinance to amend the downtown Centennial Plan to replace the list of permitted uses for the Arts District with a reference to the land use tables for Title 19 and to provide for other related matters.
Thank you. Bill number 2017-5 is assigned to recommending committee members Councilman Barlow, Anthony, and Coffin. If any so designated or unable to attend City Clerk's office, will coordinate finding substitutes as necessary at my direction. Thank you. And I gather Councilman Barlow, I think he's out of town anyway. But we'll get to that. Okay, agenda item 51. VAR 67606, public hearing, applicant owner Mihai Pawn for possible action or request for a variance to allow an 11-foot front yard setback where 18 feet is required for an existing carport at 4000 Red Pony Court, R-CL, single-family compact lot, zone, Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. Staff recommends denial. Planning Commission recommends approval. This is a public hearing which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present? Interesting. Hello, Mr. Lowenstein.
Good morning. Peter Lowenstein, Department of Planning. There's no, this item's before you as a result of code enforcement action. There's no unique circumstances that would warrant a hardship, and therefore staff is recommending denial.
Okay, anyone wishing to be heard on this item, please come forward. Hearing and seeing none, of closing public comment, and Councilman Coffin.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have been unable to reach the homeowner. We have also been unable to reach the person who did the engineering drawings, and then we find out this morning that it is one and the same person. The drawings prepared, we cannot tell if they were done prior to an application to do the initial construction or if they were done as a way of seeing what they have to do to solve their problem. We are in the dark. However, I don't know why the Planning Commission recommended approval. I just can't figure it out because there's no reason for approval here. On the other hand, they must have felt there was some grace with this person. So I don't want to allow, though, to exist what is currently there. We can't even tell what it's made of. You know what, do we know what that is constructed of? Because one of the objections said it was made of metal. Is it made to look like wood and it is metal, or is it in fact made of wood?
Through you, Mayor, I believe it's made of wood.
Okay, well, I would say that the direction we should give is allow this person to either tear it all down or to pare it to the size that would fit according to code, which is going to be probably half the size of that. And I'm not sure how much time to give him. We have to give him notice. You ever do that before? And I think we must have some provision for that.
Through you, Mayor, we have in the past had applications where we can give time constraints on which to bring something into code conformance. The application before you is for that 11-foot setback where 18 is required. The current construction is actually much closer to that. So if the variance is approved, you would have to amend the current structure to comply with the variance. If the direction, basically if the variance is denied, then he'd either remove it entirely or meet current code to retain it.
So the motion for denial is appropriate, and that person knows the remedy. that person would know it automatically, or do we have to tell them how to remedy the situation?
Mayor, we'd have to tell them how to remedy the situation. He'd have to go back to whatever's allowed by code as the largest structure or longest structure.
Okay, because that's, I'm not sure how smart this person is. I can't tell. We cannot talk to them. And we don't know if they're trying to avoid us or if they just don't know how to communicate. So I would say we need to tell them. I mean, they've got a rather unusual way of decorating. I mean, they've got these cruddy picket fences, and on the posts, they've got skulls. So I don't know if your inspectors are worried about visiting this and whether there will be a hex placed on them. I now I give immunization to all of the staff for denial of this request, and so that they may travel to that property without fear of hexes or curses of any kind. And so that way you're covered. But that guy's got to take that down completely or bring it to conformance. So that's my motion.
Okay, so your motion is to deny, but asking staff to re-notify?
I think that's what we have to do. Is that,
Well, as this is part of a current code enforcement case, we are in direct contact with the homeowner or the resident, and we'll make sure that they know exactly what they need to do.
okay.
And within a certain timeline, like immediate, a week, or whatever?
Well, it'll be communicated to code enforcement as I return to the office, and then they will go out and probably in the next week or so.
But they will give him or her a directive that it has to be taken care of within a certain time frame.
That is correct.
Yeah, Mayor, they normally give them between 30 and 90 days to
Okay.
rectify it.
Okay, so there is a motion.
Your Honor? Your Honor?
Yes.
I just note that on the Google satellite picture, this structure is not on there, so it is also apparently relatively new. And then I just wondered, Councilman Coffin, isn't this a pretty well-established pigeon control technique? The skulls.
If I may, through you, Mayor, if I may address the councilman's concern, they don't work at my house. So, I mean.
Well, yours are still attached to the cats, aren't they?
Well, you could put cat skulls out there and it wouldn't matter. Nothing changes the pigeon's mind because they're too stupid to figure out what they should be afraid of. Anyway, they can keep the skulls, I suppose, as long as that's in code. But if I lived there, I'd make them disappear myself. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
We still have to vote on a motion,
There
don't
was a
we?
motion, through all this dialogue that's been going on that's so exciting, there is a motion on this. So please vote and please post. And yeah, there's a frog in the front yard, too, over on the left. That motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lowenstein. Okay, agenda item 52, set the date any appeals filed or required public hearings, and instruct the city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings in dangerous buildings or nuisance litter abatements, please.
Will do.
Thank you very much. And now citizen participation. This is our second citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council unless the subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. This is your opportunity to address the council, but the council is not able to respond or engage in dialogue. Any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come forward.
Good afternoon. For the record, once again, it's Mona Lisa Samuelson, and I am your patient advocate and community activist for medical marijuana. Now, as you heard earlier, I'm once again begging for your help in legislation. As you talked about today, it was a little hard to get their attention, and you know I've been down here for the past 3-4 years trying to get some help for the medical marijuana patients because we don't have a system set up where we can sell live plants or seize. And for patients like me, that's what I require to become unbedridden. I'm bedridden. I've been bedridden for about 20 years until I learned the correct use of the cannabis plant. And it doesn't require eating the buds necessarily as so much as it requires those leaves. And that's not just for me. That's for very serious malady like epilepsy and other things that require more than just the buds. And you can't purchase that now. So I'm getting around to the part that I am your very first medical marijuana patient advocate who got your community together to teach the medical patients exactly how to use this plant. And I have a channel on YouTube called Mona Lisa Loves Mary Jane. And I don't make too much of this because I'm not trying to get attention. I'm trying to help patients. But if you look on that channel, Mona Lisa Loves Mary Jane, you'll see a bunch of videos on how to make your medicine so that you understand how we use it. And then you'll see a bunch of videos on how I'm trying to get help through legislation, because we need your voice. We are not being heard, as you know, because we don't have a system set up to what we need. So please, lend us your voice. I'm going to email you with all sorts of information on every single bill that has marijuana-related information in it, because your patients need protection. And that's all I'm here to tell you. That, and thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? I will close this part of the council agenda, and we'll move on to 54, council member recognition. Comments made by individual city council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the city council unless the subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. Any member of the council who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda will start with our historian of the right, way down there, of the right.
Mr. Scott?
And musical.
Oh, you mean
The right.
you're stopping here?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Thank you, Your
He'll
Honor.
feed you his information.
We have coffee with the councilman coming up. That will be on Friday, March 3rd, 48 hours hence, near Fort Apache on Sahara. There's a coffee bean and tea leaf. Hope to see you there. We also are having Beers with Beers at Husong's Cantina. That is in Boca Park on Tuesday, March 21st. So if coffee's a little too strong for you, feel free to come out for that event. We love talking to constituents about neighborhood concerns. In fact, we find an awful lot of them out at these events. So I would invite you to join us. The business kiosk is still up at the Sahara West Library. This is an automated method to conduct a lot of routine business that otherwise you'd have to come down either to the Development Services Center or to City Hall to transact. It turns out in this location it's second place in volume, according to a recent report emailed to me this week, behind only the one at the Development Services Center. So do take advantage of that. If you're needing a permit for a fence or a water heater, that may save you some time and gasoline. You know, I haven't really gotten, I'm sorry, we do or do not have a slide for the Naturalist Open House. We do. Okay, let's talk about the Nevada Naturalist Open House. This is kind of a cool program that we learned about through having members of the Audubon Society come up to the Wallapai Canyon Trailhead on our Tuesday and Thursday morning walks and tell us about the birds. Now, in the meantime, it turns out there's a Nevada Naturalist program. They're having an open house this weekend, and you can see the time agenda there, including a 9 o'clock session on medicinal plants. And a bunch of other stuff. So I thought folks might be interested in checking it out if you got some spare time this weekend. Now, on to what I guess sounds like a personal confession, Your Honor. When I was 14 years old, lived in Councilwoman Tarkanian's ward, although I'm sure Councilwoman Tarkanian wasn't the councilwoman then. Pink Floyd released the album Dark Side of the Moon, and it stayed on the top album chart until I was 30.
Oh my gosh.
Which is an awfully long run. March 1st, 1973 is the release of this classic rock album. The name of a little trivia point here, the name of the woman who does the female vocal in Great Gig in the Sky, if you recall the album, no words, but just a tremendous vocal part. Her name is Claire Torrey, and in the mid-2000s she sued to be named one of the co-authors of that song, and a judge ordered it done. So if you go buy a copy of this album now, you'll see that she's actually credited as one of the songwriters for the song Great Gig in the Sky.
That's interesting.
So that's all I got, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Wow. Councilman Anthony.
I'm good.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I still think we need to have the music playing in the background when
Always
he does his little musical things, right? Just background music, like, you know, just trying to help the councilman out. Just trying to be helpful. Just trying to be helpful. I just recently attended a WIN court graduation in Judge Leung's courtroom. You know, this is Women in Need. These ladies are changing their lives, and we have a great municipal court system with some specialty courts that actually do that. So it was great for me to participate and be there for that day for that young lady as she graduated from the program. Our annual, this is our biggest event. Last year, this event had 10,000 people at it. It is the Spring Celebration and Foster Connection. It is Saturday, 1st of April, from 10 to 3 p.m. at the famous Floydland Park at Tule Springs. It is free for the community to come out there. Of course, we'll have the amusement rides, farmers market, jump houses, petting zoo, Horses for Heroes is going to be out there working with us, so kids can have some horseback rides. This is a great opportunity for anyone interested in becoming a foster family. We celebrate these foster children annually out there. We had 10,000 people show up last year. It was a fabulous, fabulous event. We'll have vendors that can help get you connected to children and help get children connected to loving parents who want to take care of them. So even if it's adoption, if it's just fostering some children in your home, all of the vendors will be out there. Clark County will be out there with me as well. So it's a great, great opportunity to find out what it's like to do foster care or get any adoption information you like. So please come on out and join me and my team. We will be out there. And as we continue to fight the battle of identity theft, we have a free shredding event heading our direction April 18th from 10 to noon at the Centennial Hills Community Center. Of course, that's right behind the across the street from the library on the library side there in Buffalo. So come out and get your paper shredded. It is we all do that in all of our wards, and I'm announcing this so early because everyone keeps calling the office asking when. And in our continued partnership with the Nevada Child Seekers, we do have a missing young man. His name is Jesus Alberto Reyes Rios. He is male, 5'11", 223 pounds. He was last seen around February 17th in the area of Pecos and Charleston. Was last seen with wearing a black long sleeve shirt, blue jeans, and gray sneakers. Please, if you have any information as to the whereabouts of this young man, please contact the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department at 702-828-3111 or Nevada Child Seekers at 702-458-7009. Let's get him back to where he belongs. If you need to contact my office, I'm easy to find. Certainly go to lasvegasnevada.gov. It's a beautiful new website that we've built, but you can email it, Councilman-S. Ross, at that address, or you can find me anywhere on social media or the old-fashioned way. Pick up the telephone and dial the number 702-229-6154. Thank you, Mayor and council members.
Thank you. Councilwoman.
Each year, I enjoy taking part in Nevada Reading Week, and yesterday I had the pleasure of reading a few Dr. Seuss books to children at Helen Marie Smith Safe Key program. And I do feel we're doing a good job, our city, with the Safe Key program. Had a great time there. Tomorrow I will be visiting Edith and Lloyd Katz Elementary in Ward 1. It's a wonderful experience to see these children so excited about books and reading, and Nevada Reading Week, having all of us, I know on the council invited, and the mayor also in attending, it just develops a great feeling of expectancy and fun for the children, and we can wear our cat in the hat hats and our ties and have a good time too. But we also haven't forgotten about the high schoolers. Ward 1 in the city of Las Vegas are hosting an empowerment summit in partnership with JAG Nevada, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and Nevada Job Connect. The summit will take place this Saturday at Clark High School from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the entire summit will focus on the best ways to obtain employment, going through what you should wear, what should be on your Vita, what are the best classes, or what are the best workshops to go to prepare you for job employment. And they'll have people there who will help you participate in a job interview. And there'll be lots of interactive workshops where people will critique what you're doing and help you learn how to do it a little better. And there will also be people there hiring. So it's not just people there helping you learn, there will be people there who will be hiring. And so students are encouraged to bring their resumes, wear professional attire. And for more information, please call 702-229-4075. And just quickly, I would like to remind our neighborhood and homeowners associations that the Neighborhood Partnership Fund supported by the City of Las Vegas, is accepting applications until Monday, April 17th. Associations can apply for up to $5,000 in matching grants for projects related to neighbor beautification, perimeter wall painting, neighborhood safety and signage, and community building activities. It's a great way to get together with your neighbors and do something positive in your area. And also, to match the grant is not difficult since they give you credit for the hours every single one of you spends in the project. So that's usually easy to match the $5,000. For more information, again, call the Office of Community Services at 702-229-6681. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. In Ward 5, Thursday, March 9th, will be Coffee with the Councilman. I traditionally have Coffee with the Councilman the first Thursday of every month, but this month, the month of March, Coffee with the Councilman will be held March 9th from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. at the Starbucks located at 1925 North Martin Luther King Boulevard. This is at the corner of Lake Mead and MLK. For more information, please contact my office at 229-5443. And on Friday, March 17th at 7 p.m., Keith Brentley will host the Poets Corner at the West Las Vegas Arts Center in celebration of its 19th year. The Poets Corner welcomes and provides a creative and dynamic environment for established poets and open mic participants. Featuring the best local talent, it continues to thrive and mentor the next generation of poets and spoken word artists. For more information, please call 702-229-4800. And moving on to the historic West Side School, a jewel in the historic West Las Vegas community located at Washington and D Street, has professional office space and retail as well as a cafe space available for anyone looking to move their business into this historic location. Newly renovated, a multi-million-dollar renovation and upgrade includes a modern office space while the exterior has been carefully restored. So if you have not had an opportunity to visit the historic West Side School and the available retail space, please contact Julie Quisenberry at 702-229-6551 for more information. And of course, you may follow me on all of my social media platforms by way of Twitter as well as Facebook, and email at lasvegasnevada.gov/Ward 5, or just, as the Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, the old conventional way, 229-5443 is the Ward 5 office direct. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And from my vantage point, join us downtown this weekend as Millennial Esports hosts the World Championship qualifying Halo tournament at our fabulous new esports arena at Neonopolis. On the third floor of Neonopolis, you'll find a state-of-the-art e-gaming arena hosting matches for teams from all over the world. The top 6 teams will then compete for $1 million prize at the Halo World Championships. So come on downtown and cheer on your favorite team. It's great family fun for everyone. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, start your engines. I missed it last year. Mayor Pro Tem had a good time. Friday, March 10th until Sunday, March 12th, we're celebrating NASCAR weekend at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Congratulations, of course, to our hometown heroes, Kurt Busch, who just finished first last Sunday at the Daytona 500, and to Brendan Gaughan of South Point, who placed 11th. Another exciting weekend's in store right here in fabulous Las Vegas as we gear up for Boyd Gaming 300 Xfinity Series and the Cobalt 400 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. I'll be there on Sunday, March 12th at 11 a.m. and invite Mayor Pro Tem if he wants to help lift the Mayor's Award to our Cobalt 400 winner. So come on out, have a great time. The weather looks to be great. It'll probably be right at 70. And our next City Council meeting is Wednesday, March 15th at 9 o'clock here in Chambers. And just hope you all stay safe, happy, and put out a hand to help somebody else. Thank you for being with us, and this City Council meeting is adjourned.